Hey, greetings and welcome. Turtle Soup.
Welcome. Let's get energy up, Eric.
We have to.
This is a big one, bro.
It is. It's monumentous.
We gotta push harder
We
than
have
we've
to.
ever pushed before.
I
We have
feel
to
like
divide and conquer.
oh, goodness, we definitely do. Because this, and that's actually what we do now, or at least we did for the reviews, because we're kind of at the end. We're at the end of the road of some stuff here on the journey, and of Turtle Soup, where you come to hear about the Turtles' journey all the way from the beginning until I don't go to until I go to a high school reunion. There you go. Because chances are I'm probably not going to go. Farmer Greg just messaged me. For those who don't know, Farmer Greg, producer of the show, also on the most recent bonus episodes of Turtle Soup, the No Homework Zone. He messaged me right before the show asking me some questions about some people that we used to hang out with, and if I'd heard from them, because apparently they were all talking at the reunion about people who are not there. And I assumed that I was one of the people that they talked about, but who knows? And yeah, I was just like, I don't know that I'm gonna. Not that I have anything against those people. It's just I mostly talk to and I'm friends with the people that I wanted to be friends with. But nevertheless, that's cool. If that's your thing, you do you. But until I go to one, we're still going to be doing the show. So I'm here doing the show right now, so that should tell you.
My high school reunion, which I didn't go to, because I had zero interest in that. Anybody that I knew from high school that I still wanted to talk to, I was still talking to. Everybody else can just die in a fire.
Oh my goodness.
Then it turned out that it was a scam.
What?
They sold tickets and everything to this big thing at Channel Side, which is kind of like our little ritzy part of Ybor City area out on the water out there in Tampa. They sold this big thing to this big event at Channel Side, and everyone that bought tickets showed up, and there was nothing, and it was a scam run by this girl who's never been seen again.
That's amazing! Oh my goodness!
So that was our, and then everyone there was a Facebook group for my high school, and I'm on there, and there's 12 people, and they're like, does anybody want to do a real one? Everyone's like, well, I live in Indiana, and that's it. Yeah. So that'll never happen. That's fine.
Yeah.
Because I don't need them, but I do need y'all. You know what I'm saying? I need y'all to know a couple of very important things that Eric's going to tell you. So you really need to listen up.
So by y'all, he means the podcast listeners that we've had for eons and our new YouTube friends. We need all of y'all because we're here on YouTube now.
We need everybody.
Everybody. So be sure to subscribe, like, comment, do all that fun stuff. It's totally free for you, and it helps us out a ton. And, you can tell people about the show, people that, like the Turtles and would enjoy our stuff. It means a lot to us, and it helps us keep going. And so speaking of people that help us keep going, we have here at Turtle Soup, we have set up a Patreon where people can throw monies our way, and you get cool things, and you get to be the part of the elite group that we have affectionately referred to as Patron Ranger. And you can be a part of that. And family, that's another thing. Yes, we call them family. And they provide support so that we don't say clang. They keep the show and us and everything involved from saying clang. And two people that are probably upper echelon, you know what I'm saying? They have been there, and they've just been signing it up and putting it down and all that stuff.
They're in the inner circle. It's inner circle. They're in the inner sanctum. Inner sanctum, if you will.
Yeah, they've kept the lights on in more ways than one, more times than one. And that's going to be John O'Barnes and Jeff Peters. So thank you very much, y'all. We sincerely appreciate your patronage, and couldn't do the show without you. So thank you very much.
Love it. Absolutely love it.
Well, speaking of things that we love, Ryan, where are we at in the journey today?
Today, Turtletarians, is a momentous occasion. We are in November of 1996. We are going to be reviewing the 8th and final episode from the 10th and final season. Oh, he's a bit verklempt.
Yeah.
Of the 1987 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles animated series.
Yeah.
It's titled Divide and Conquer.
It is.
And Eric's right. We had to divide and conquer this among years and years of this podcast. Tonight, we do the last final episode. So that is where we are at.
Yes.
Eric, really fast. We got so much other stuff to get into, but I got to know. We got to check in because it's Turtle Soup tradition.
Right.
How are you doing, man?
I'm all right. I'm still trying to catch them all. Having problems with Target's website telling me that Pokemon are in and then they're not when I go there onto the site, and it's a mess. But you know what? I'm chill. I'm just hanging out. You know, they'll come around. Doing that and still trying to move, which has been horrendous. So that's a nightmare. Yeah. And everything else is going pretty good. The bands are doing good. We're about to start recording some stuff, and hopefully that also means we're going to start recording some songs for Turtle Soup, and more on that later. But I've been doing okay, I think. So how about you?
I've been doing well. It's been kind of crazy. I got to give a big shout out. Bloomingdale Little League.
Oh,
the Lookouts.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
My son, August, he's on that team.
There you go.
Now, they started the season, a couple losses.
Right.
But they weren't good. It's kind of hard. A lot of errors.
Yeah.
Came back with that big win. You know what I'm saying?
That's the way
boy August, at the plate. Plate appearance 1. Earns a walk. You know what I'm saying? Gets on base. Inning in. It's okay. It's all right. We'll come back. At bat 2, your boy, crowding the plate. Takes one for the team. Round the elbow. Shakes it off. Gets to first base. Woo. Wild pitch later, steals second base. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He's a danger. He's a wild man on this path. Long hair, hanging down. His hair is down past his shoulders now.
What?
Skinniest
For real?
little scarecrow kid you ever seen. Oh, yeah. His hair is long as hell. Long as hell. Luscious like mine used to be. Mm-hmm. Chocolate brown like mine. Thin and beautiful. You know what I'm saying? Fine. And looks like conditioner every day. You know what I'm saying? But that's that's that guy family hair. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what he got from me.
Oh, we have some of that on our on our kitchen sink.
Yes, no, my rat tail. We got that. Yes. He's following the fine tradition. That's his trademark, he says. Well, he steals second on a wild pitch. Don't worry about it. You know what I'm saying? Your boy takes a big lead. Pitcher checks him at second, has dived back in. It's okay. He's going to take that big lead. All of a sudden, another wild pitch. Your boy's at third. You know what I'm saying? What happened? Takes his big lead at third. Thinks about taking it. RBI single from your boy Cole. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Cole bats your boy August in. Winning run. You know what I'm saying?
Dang.
All about it. Big shout out. Big plays. Also, my Rays in the ALDS. Game 1, 5 shutty. You know what I'm saying? Beat those Red Sox.
5
Game
shutty.
2.
Goodness.
18-6 or 14-6 we lose.
Yeah.
Yep, that's right. That's a football score. Am I nervous? Yes. But that's kind of been it's been all baseball for me. It's just been, if it's not Little League baseball, it is big league baseball playoffs. And besides that, I don't think I have time for much else except for this show and y'all. So that's about priorities. That's about where it is. Let me tell you something else about where it is. It's right here.
Oh goodness. Oh snap! Yeah,
it's this boy. Okay,
yep.
This boy right here. This could be yours. This is yours. I just got done. I tucked the last disc into this damn box.
Oh man.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it was a moment.
Mm-hmm.
I remember my boy Eric talking about how it felt to pull that last disc out of the back of this thing.
Yeah.
And that was an occasion. Okay. Whew. Let me tell you, putting that last disc back in. I'm not gonna lie. I put my hand on top of the discs and I just closed my eyes and just a moment. Felt them under my hand. Just take a moment, because I knew that when I packed this box up, that was it.
That was it.
It was no longer
Dunzo.
Mine. Sitting on my desk. You can win that bad boy. It can happen. It is called Ryan's Radically Rewatchable Rerun Raffle, which we just figured out during our pregame conversation today, Eric and I.
Yep.
That raffle should always have been spelled RAPHLE.
Yep.
It is now.
That was our fault. But it is now.
Google Docs is like, don't you mean normal raffle? And I'm like, don't you mean you're a simp? And just red underline. Red underline, that's what it is. But you can enter this bad boy. Now, we are drawing the winner of this contest October 20th at 9 o'clock. You know what I'm saying? October 20th, next week, we're taking a break. Next week, no Turtle Soup. We got to cleanse the palate, okay? No soup next week. But we will be drawing this bad boy. The raffle ticket winner will earn this bad boy straight to their house. You know what I'm saying? No questions asked. You want us to autograph it? We'll autograph it. You want us not to? That's fine.
That's fine.
Ship straight to your house, right to your domicile. Okay. You can enter the raffle by doing all the following things.
Name them.
First, you gotta subscribe on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? Get that subscription in. That's barrier to entry. Gotta have it. Gotta have that. Can't play the game if you don't do that.
No.
That's one ticket. Okay. Second ticket. If you're a patron, you get that second ticket. Now you gotta subscribe too, guys. So all of our beautiful patrons, I need you to come on here and you subscribe because, like, I mean, it'd be a real shame. You know what I'm saying? But you get that second ticket. Okay. Yeah. You heard me. That was a mafia threat. That's what I just rolled out. Straight mafia threat. It'd be a real shame if something happened to that ticket.
It would be.
Now look at you like this.
I don't have a good mafia face. You do though. I just look like a Muppet.
Give me your mafia face. That's so Muppet. Oh my God, that's so Muppet. How?
I look like a Muppet. I don't know.
How do you do that? Oh God. Okay. So so you get that second ticket. Be a real shame something happened to it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you gotta be subscribed on YouTube. That's 2 tickets. Third ticket. Comment on a video, not live chat. We love live chat. Live chat's amazing. Live chat literally powers my body at times. Like Crane's Android body. You know what I'm saying? You have something to control it. Yep. Effectively, comments on videos do that for me. Live chat does it for me. We need a comment on the video. Drop a comment on a video that's already been posted. Boom. Third ticket off the bat. Last ticket. Last thing to do is enter our Turtles Come Out and Fight That email contest. You know what I'm saying? That is what's up. Now, the Turtles Come Out and Fight That email contest, that's going to continue on past when we draw the winner of this raffle, okay?
Right.
That's its own contest.
It's a contest within a
sweet
contest.
Turtle Soup swag. Dome inside a dome inside another dome. Yeah. That's how you have to run this kind of thing.
Exactly.
Right now, finishing up this animated series, giving away the party wagon. We're running all this. You got to have a dome and a dome. It's insurance dome, okay?
Exactly.
So
insurance dome.
Turtles Come Out and Fight That email contest. Enter that bad boy. The question is, well, how would the Turtles come out and fight the cancellation of the animated series and their decline in the 90s? Like, what would they do to, like, reel it back in and keep that ship floating? We know what happened. It led to the year 2000 of no Turtles. You know what I'm saying? It led to the dead spot. How would the Turtles go back in time, fix this problem? You know what I'm saying? We grade answers on brevity, wit, because it's soul wit. You know what I'm saying?
It is. That's what I've heard.
Originality and hilarity. Okay? Right. Keep it kind of short so we can read it on the air. Okay? We're going to read it in a special video.
Bonus points for alliteration as always.
Alliteration is huge. That's also bonus points. Now, that's its own thing, and that'll be open for later. So that April 20th deadline doesn't really apply to entering the contest, but it does apply to entering the contest and getting a ticket for the raffle. You know what I'm saying? So April, so that's that whole thing. So send us an email that expressly says this is the Turtles Come Out Fight That contest, and we'll get you going. The last drawing for the party wagon is October 20th at 9 p.m. Eastern. That is when we are going to do the drawing. And then we are going to announce everything October 21st on the next new episode 269. Nice. You know what I'm saying?
Nice. Yeah.
Cool. October 21st at 8:00 Eastern. You know what I'm saying? So you got that time. Get it in. Win this copy, mine own copy.
Yep.
Of the animated series. And when you open it, you can place your hands right where I place my hand on these discs. Close your eyes and commune with me.
Yep. Daddy's hands. People
have paid a high price, not just the gold price. People have paid the iron price. To commune with me.
Exactly. They have short list, but
let's get
people have done it. Exactly.
A short list indeed.
But the iron still list.
But the iron was hot, and they struck. And that is what we need out of you guys. Get in, get this party wagon, get it going. We've already got a good number of the email entries. Let's keep those going. I want a huge episode out of that.
Oh yeah.
And let's do it. Speaking of let's do it, we got a ton of emails. We put out the call last week. Hey, if you guys want to come in, talk about the animated series, talk about this occasion, why don't you hit us up? And we got that. You know what I'm saying? We got a lot of that.
We did. Y'all met the call, so thank you. And just
Y'all
bear in
met
mind,
the call.
This is going to be a long episode, so saddle up.
Sure, buckle the hell in, as my grandfather used to say. You know what I'm saying?
Sounds
right. When he would drive by, he would roll down the window in his Ford Aerostar van. He would spit at the Carney Museum. You do that.
Good God.
Then he would say, buckle the hell in.
Yeah.
And then we'd go fishing, and it was a lot of fun. But
did he say get in, loser?
Did
he say get in, loser? We're going fishing.
Yeah, get in, loser. We're gonna spin on the Carney Museum, and then we're gonna go fishing. It's a long story.
It is. I think
we got some emails. Are you ready? I think we have to. Are you ready for these emails?
I don't know, man. I don't know if I'm ready for any of this, but we're doing it. But there's
really
a lot
fast
of emotion
before
here.
we get started. Are you sure we don't have anything stuck on our shell? You might want to check. Just make sure. There's no tracking stuff. Are you sure?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, good. Okay, good. I don't want you pulling that out later disturbingly. Like it happens in a little bit. We open up with an email from Splinter, straight up. Straight up. Old Dad
Splinter.
knew the occasion was going on.
Oh, yeah.
Splinter emailed us to pledge his support. You know what I'm saying? He came in to pledge his support. You got it in that video game.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
He wrote in. So this is from Splinter. This is Dear Ryan and Eric.
Oh, man.
I'm so glad you like to watch my sons on TV. But could you at least tell me when you're going to record? I always look like a rat. I mean wreck. There is something wrong with the camera angles. So sure, just warn me next time, please. I have a face I can make that always makes me look a little smarter. Cheese, I mean G's. Just never mind, but seriously, fix the cameras. Your whisker wiser friend, Splinter.
Oh, okay.
You could take the rat out of the man,
but
you can't take the man out of the rat.
Can't do it.
Master Splinter comes in. Well, Master Splinter, the truth about this is, Sensei, is that we're done doing the animated series. So
we are.
Catch up with us. We'll try to let you guys know about the 2003 version of yourself, and in that animated series, and make sure you look good there. You know what I'm saying? But
also you called him Sensei, and people might be confused if they've already watched the episode we're going to review, because there is a issue with that at the end of the episode. But Ryan and I still have to refer to Master Splinter as Sensei, because unlike the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles from the 1987 animated series, we have a lot to learn still, and that's what we're here for.
Still,
so
we're not even close to Flying Claw. It's not even close.
No.
Flying Claw. I walked up on Splinter and asked him about Flying Claw. He looked at me like, "What's your name?" And I was like, "Oh shit." He doesn't know my name.
He doesn't.
Oh my god. So Splinter, thanks a lot for writing in.
Yes, thank you so much.
Sensei, it on the austere occasion we have tonight, it feels great.
Mm-hmm. It does.
So let's see here. So we got another one. One second. There's so many emails because they're all mixed in with the Trolls Come Out Fight That contest. So just give me a second because I keep pulling those up. Okay, here we go. This is from your boy, the golden boy from Georgia, Malik. We were looking forward to this. When you want to know about the animated series, you go to Malik. Malik comes to us. It's a whole chain. You know what I'm saying? They might be able to open a RICO case on us because it goes Malik, Turtle Soup, animated series, and it's a cycle. And all of a sudden the FBI goes, it's a RICO, and we all get arrested. And if we all did get arrested, Malik would be the godfather of the animated series, and he would skate. Yep. Because he used us in the commission of all of his crimes, and RICO wouldn't work, and he would skate, and we'd all go to jail. This is from Malik. It is entitled "The Finish Line at Last. Slow and steady does win the race." Here we go.
All right.
Hello, Turtletarians. It's Malik. I told you I'd be here for the grand finale. I wouldn't miss it for the world. Tonight's adventure, Divide and Conquer, written by David Wise and Jeffrey Scott. As TMNT fans, we were really very lucky. TMNT 1987 was one of the few 80s cartoons that got an actual finale where the story was resolved at the end of the series. I mean, maybe we could take it for granted now that all long-running shows have to end with a big finish, but that just wasn't the case back in the day. A bunch of popular cartoons that ran for years and years and years ultimately just petered off into oblivion without a satisfying conclusion. But your boys Jeffrey and David were good to us, and even though most people on the planet didn't see this episode until the Season 10 DVD was released, it's a treat worth waiting for. Side note, you know the Vortex Transporter? A dead ringer for the Utrom's teleportal. That is some kind of deep dive kind of Easter egg right there. You know what I'm saying? And that's true.
That is.
Remember how I mentioned in my letter after Doom Quest that Dreg went through sort of a character arc? Well, this is where it wraps up. He's through with any pretense of honor. There's no longer this is no longer about taking over the planet. He wants those turtles dead, and he wants them dead now. Mung noticed that Dreg was starting to lose his shit on the previous episode, and he will finally come full circle. He's lost sight of the original Conquer the Universe goal, and he gives 0 Fs because we're on Facebook and YouTube and everything like that. So, but Malik used the word I like to use there, and it's legit. I freaking love it. The villain actually has a clear arc over the progress of his 16-episode tenure, getting crazier and crazier until he snaps at the very end. He ultimately loses the Dreadnought and all of his followers, essentially reduced to a mindless monster as his last-ditch effort for satisfaction. Compare that to Shredder and Krang, who remained pretty static for 8 seasons and were content to just wash out and repeat the same plan, hoping with, maybe it'll work this time. Dreg clearly does not handle failure as gracefully as them.
Right.
Since we've reached the grand finale, I can't help but feel like crying a bit. In a way, it's like saying goodbye to old friends you've had for a decade to get to know, and you might never see them again. Grab some pizza, take whatever snacks you can find, and plunk yourself down in your favorite seat because this is it, the fearsome fighting finale. Jam to the Red Sky themes for as long as you can because we'll never hear them again for a new episode after this. Yeah. Also, one thing that really annoys me, whenever any form of media just decides that just because Michelangelo speaks in surfer style, then clearly all the turtles must speak that way. Yeah. We agree.
Yeah, absolutely.
We've touched on this many times.
Yes.
So annoying. Especially because Eric's favorite turtle is Mikey, and that kills him a little bit.
It does. A little bit.
But too much rambling. Ought to put a cap on this. Also, turtle soup in Japanese is pronounced supanabe. Should have mentioned that in my previous letter because he didn't do the pronunciation part. He didn't spell it out for us because we're stupid.
Oh, right.
Else time turtles, in the name of love and pizza. Malik, thank you so much for that email.
Yeah,
very thoughtful.
Thank you so much.
It's been really great having you on this part of the journey, Malik, because you have such great insight. And I agree with everything that is written here. Just buckle in, guys. You know what I'm saying? Buckle in. But I want to reiterate really fast, that this does feel like an ending of sorts, but like we still got so much to do, guys.
We do.
We got so much to do. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're in the prime of it. This is we're still working down the chain.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Did you have any other thoughts on that email before I move on, Eric? I'm sorry, I'm kind of reading a little fast because I'm trying to get through them because there's a lot, but I don't want to block you out.
Right. No, you're good. Malik, I echo Ryan's sentiments. All the stuff you said, legit, and I like Dreg's everything he went through. But we're gonna talk about that in the review. But you put it very succinctly and in a really good way that makes a lot of sense, and I agree. And so no, that's pretty much it.
Ooh, okay. Moving on, John Klein comes in. You know what I'm saying? He says,
John
87, Klein. End of an era. Hello, Rodimus, CBR, and Michelangelo. Now, as you guys know, CBR stands for Chicken Bacon Ranch, which is another alias of Eric's.
Yes.
That's him. You probably have plans to dig into this deeper next year for the big 10-year anniversary of the podcast. But I thought it might be fun if you two glob papas.
Glob papas? Oh my goodness!
Love the glob
I love
papas.
It. I love it.
I'm a glob papa. Can discuss how much different your lives are since Monday, March 11th, 2013, when episode 15, 3-hour death fall to the Technodrome, was released as you two close another giant chapter in the journey. Really fast, that question is such a good question. We've actually added it into our show notes for the end of the review. So we're going to answer that at the end, John. That's a great question. 2013. Holy crap.
Yeah.
I recall loving the 87 series. I must have fallen off at one point, but then one glorious Saturday morning, I tuned into CBS and saw the amazing new theme song title sequence incorporating movie footage, and I was all in again. There must have been a long hiatus between new episodes, as I recall falling off Star Trek Enterprise and the 2002 He-Man cartoon due to UPN and Cartoon Network's ridiculous scheduling and lack of marketing. Anyways, I agree with both those statements. Star Trek Enterprise was absolutely given the short end of the stick by UPN, and it's very annoying. The Red Skies captured my attention immediately, and I still think of the show when I make sure I don't call anyone's bluff when the sun is a dark red on an odd morning. That's true. If someone says, "Oh, it's Red Skies," I think before I watch this, I'd be like, dude, it's morning.
Yeah.
But now I'm kind of like,
Ooh.
go and check all the nearby buildings. Are they all broken?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because if that's a thing, then we're probably in red skies.
Probably.
So that's changed my life.
Absolutely.
That first episode back, and then Raza and Toka's later appearance, the show really ended on a high note, especially the return of Shrang. Thank you for spinning the wheel of the journey, and I can't wait until you start the image run. Else time. And it includes a very funny story. He says, Walker was playing a match of Fortnite, and one of the kids he was playing with wondered aloud how fun it would be if the Turtles ever came to the game. And without missing a beat, Walker immediately said how his dad loves the Turtles and turtle soup. It made me smile. What am I doing? I would definitely buy Leo if he came to Fortnite.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that is your boy, John Klein III.
That's awesome.
John Klein, thank you so much for that.
Yes.
All those
thank you
memories.
very much.
Sharing turtle soup with your fam. You know what I'm saying? I love that. That's a multi-generation, because we'll probably still be doing it. He'll be a grown man.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
That's definitely going to happen.
Going to college.
Right.
Be like, well, don't forget to pack your turtle soup.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And we'll still be here.
Yep. Yeah. That would be weird if
the first time that
Oh, sorry. I was just going to say about the Fortnite stuff because Father Preston was over the other night, last night, and we actually watched something we'll talk about here in a second. But I had just picked up, I think it's Dark Kit, whatever the cat is that's evil, the evil version, and it's got the robot. Yep. And I was like, yeah, this Fortnite stuff. And I was talking to him about Fortnite. He's like, you think I'd like it? And we had this whole conversation about it. So yeah, I don't know. Those characters are so cool. Like the ones they make on their own. Like even when they add cooler other characters from other properties,
they're
it
original
just gets even better.
characters.
Yeah.
Oh, Peely, bro.
Oh, Peely's amazing.
Peely's the best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's great. And Beef Boss.
Yes. No, they're all really great. Wow. It's so funny how over Fortnite August is. Like it's so funny how kids change their entire whole ass beings. They just shed them like skin, and it's so weird to see. Like we all did that, but it's so funny to see your kid shed their skin like that because he was like, because if you would have asked him probably a year and a half ago, what's your life ambition, he'd be like a professional Fortnite player.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
What do you want to do? Yes, he's like I'm gonna get really good. I'm gonna compete in tournaments. I'm gonna be on a team, and I'm gonna be that. That's my job. And now he just the other day was just like he's 11. Okay, 11 going on 15. This kid goes, I mean Fortnite, yeah, sure. Back when it was good. And I'm like, people are still playing Fortnite, right? Like,
yeah,
you know that there's still a ton of people that think it's really good right now,
right?
And he's like, yeah, but I don't know. And I'm like, bro, that's just called moving on. You know what I'm saying? But you gotta learn not to yuck that yum.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? And I try to teach that young because I spent my whole adolescent years yucking everyone's yum.
Mm-hmm.
And that was my goal in life. You like that music? I hate it. Yuck. You know what I'm saying? That's what I did.
Right. And then we end up going back to it, and it's like, oh, actually, that's kind of good. You know?
Yeah.
Actually, I kind of love that. Yeah. So, but no, that's awesome, John. Thank you so much for writing in and being a part of our memories and our journey through this stuff too.
No,
and all of y'all, thank you for that.
Duncan.
Oh, Neal. Snap, Duncan.
Right, you made it. You know what I'm saying? That's the subject. You made it.
Oh yeah, you love to hear it.
When I hear that, I hear looks like we made it. I'm like, you know what I mean? Like it's like a whole thing.
Oh yeah.
And then once I close those tears up, stop that waterworks show. I read the email, and it said, "What's up, Ryan and Eazy? I'm a couple episodes behind right now, but I wanted to congratulate you guys on finally getting to the end of the animated series. That alone has been quite a journey within the journey. I agree. It's those domes we were talking about.
It is.
A dome and a dome. It's meaningful to me because I first found your podcast as a result of looking for a podcast to get me through the TMNT cartoon specifically.
Oh, okay.
Of course, what I found was, that's wow. That's I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's neat.
That's pretty cool. That kind of. Of course, what I found was so much more than I ever dreamed of. But thought you might like to know that as that cheesy as hell series that brought us together in the first place. Don't know if you guys have already mentioned it, but I'm pretty sure that at the time the series ended, it held the record for the longest running American animated series. That record would, of course, be broken by a certain Yellow family very shortly afterwards.
Right.
But I think the TMNT at least briefly held that title. And then he goes in and says, actually, I just looked it up, and it looks like Fat Albert predated TMNT and had a longer run, although fewer seasons and episodes.
Yeah.
And then he makes a disparaging joke about Bill Cosby that I 100% agree with.
But
and
yeah, we'll just
let's just say he's not convicted anymore.
Right. So
how? Anyway.
Yeah. Anyway.
But for me, what is maybe just as exciting as you guys finish up the cartoon is that you guys are finally at a truly fascinating stage in the journey of the TMNT, the mid-90s, the Dark Ages.
Yeah.
I've been involved in a decades-long chronological read-through of Marvel Comics, and I've recently gotten to the mid-90s with that as well, and things are getting weird as hell. It's like sometime around 95 or 96, all of these cultural creations had finally shed every remnant of influence from the 80s, but there wasn't that much to replace it. Does that resonate with you guys? Is that something you've noticed with other stuff? I don't know, just some armchair cultural criticism. Not sure if there's any other kind. I agree. I think all cultural criticism is pretty armchair.
Oh yeah.
That resonates with me a lot. The mid 90s were weird because I don't know if I ever really, frankly, thought of it that way, the way you put it. But now that I think about it that way, shedding the 80s and then being stuck in the middle 90s, it's almost like throwing your paddles overboard and waiting for the wind to pick up in your sails. But for a while there was no wind blowing.
Right.
And a lot of stuff ground to a halt in the mid 90s.
Yeah. It's funny you mentioned this, Duncan, because Farmer Greg and I had a conversation that was literally about that, because I was talking about how much, we loved Claremont and stuff in the 80s, and I'm like, how much of that is nostalgia and how much of it was that they were doing really cool things, because and then I even said, like, in the 90s it was just very I don't know, just vapid and just not really much on the bone, and if there was cool stuff, it was always mishandled and just very limp, and like a lot of promise, but the promise of the premise was never met for a lot of things. And we were speaking mostly to X-Men, but a lot of it could be said to other things in comics and TV shows and whatnot. But yeah, we had the same conversation, and I agree. But I'm interested to see if people that are they maybe came along in the 2000s, like and then found like X-Men and Spider-Man and all that stuff like that at the time frame where we did, but moved up like 10 to 20 years. And so it's like they could what their impressions are of it, because obviously ours are skewed in one way or the other. So I mean, there are some quantifiable like differences, but nevertheless, at the end of the day, we're all going to have an opinion based on like other influences that have come in. But still, I'm always curious about that, because we've had theories, you and I, Ryan, about friends of ours who have liked certain bands, and we're like, do you like them ironically, or do you like them because you really like them? And we think that they might like them ironically, not knowing that. Well, actually, no, I messed that up. A friend of ours likes a band. We think that he likes them because he had people that were older than him that were liking it ironically, but he didn't understand irony when he was young.
He didn't know it, but his like for it is like a weird mixture, because he's so much younger than us, weird mixture of irony and genuine appreciation. Yeah. And we crowned this our own armchair cultural criticism theory. Yeah. That people of that generation don't know what irony is because it's wrapped up into their being. Right. Like, and because back when we were younger, it was you liked something ironically, or you liked it super genuinely. And obviously not to say that it's always black and white. There's things that I liked even back then that you like it ironically, but then also like you kind of like it for different reasons. But it's different because I remember we brought up that to him directly. We were like, do you think you like that band ironically or genuinely? Because sometimes it sounds like you genuinely like it, but there's irony all over what you're saying. And he's kind of looked at us, but this individual is not a vapid person. This person's very intelligent. Like, and so you could tell he was thinking about it, but he kind of came back to us with like, does not compute a little bit. Yeah. Like, what do you mean? Yeah. And we were like, but ironic versus like a genuine appreciation. He looked at me like, like that is one. And I'm like, we are very different. And that really, I mean, but I wonder, I've always said that generation gaps were always a bit overstated. But that was one of the times that Eric and I were right there. We drilled down deep and we found like actual stratification of like generations. We're like, whoa, that's actually kind of statistically significant.
Yeah, absolutely.
Of a gap.
Right. And so I think that there might be something like that to what you're saying, Duncan. And so, but the idea that you're going through like all of the Marvel, that's fascinating to me. And I love that because as to the premise of this show, like that we're the deep diving daddies, you know what I'm saying? So,
it very well could have, we very well could have just been that podcast. If Eric and I could agree on Marvel or DC. Right. And so we probably would not have made a podcast.
No.
And then you wouldn't have anything.
Exactly.
But he ends by saying, anyway, thanks for bringing so much joy to my life. And I look forward to exploring for me at least, uncharted and strange new waters of the journey alongside you. Else time, Duncan. Duncan, yes, that means a lot to me, man. And I think I speak for Eric too, that we're always just kind of blown out by how sincere and how like touching your words can be, just like from everybody. And it's just wild. It's just this is an episode. I mean, I'm getting like gushy and weird on this one, but this is one of those like full circle moments for me. Yeah. Where we usually we're so busy making the show, we're so busy doing stuff and living our lives that, like I don't want to say you take it for granted, but you just kind of say, yeah, no, we got this thing. We got like, Turtle Soup Nation, Turtletarians. We do this podcast. It's all good. Like, and you're just kind of moving through it, and you're trying to do a lot at one time. But a moment like this makes you stop and you read these emails, and you're just like, okay, this is actually a big thing. And Eric and I are we are very self-deprecating people by nature. Absolutely. That's part of like, that's just programmed into us. It is. It's very hard for us to admit to ourselves sometimes, like, hey, we've done a thing that people really enjoy, and like we've done good for people. It's hard for us to even accept. So in moments where I'm kind of like pinned down and made to accept, I'm just in awe of it. So,
me too. Yeah, absolutely.
We have one more email. Your boy Matty D. You know what I'm saying? You got a gloss now. You know what I'm saying? You didn't self-gloss, Matt. I did it. Matty D. Greetings, fine gentlemen. Oh, subject line, end of an era. This is our last email. End of an era. Greetings, fine gentlemen. Short-time listener, first-time writer here. I started listening thanks to a recommendation by the great Jeremy DeWitt. Jeremy DeWitt is a great man. Jeremy DeWitt, I'm so glad he and Laura had COVID, and it was a rough run, especially for Laura. And I was watching that one. I just lost a friend to COVID that I had from the game shop, and it really affected me. And they got it, and I was just like on actual Facebook, just monitoring Jeremy basically for a week. Yeah, I had so glad that you guys got through that. That's huge.
I was off Facebook for a minute, and then not deliberately, it just happened that way. And then I saw that, and I was like, oh no! So I had to. Yeah, that was the thing. But
but they're on the mend and doing well, which is great. Excellent. But Jeremy DeWitt's a inspiring human being.
He absolutely is. Yes.
I have enjoyed your show immensely, along with your colorful personalities. That is one way to put it, Matt. That's one way to put it. I've been bouncing back and forth randomly through old episodes as well as keeping up on the current episodes. It's funny. I thought it's funny. I thought sorry. I'm messing this up. I'm verklempt, guys. I'll admit. It's funny. I thought I was hardcore into the TMNT when growing up, but didn't realize how much I missed. Right. I have zero memories of Red Skies, so you guys have been my introduction to that era. Got a couple quick questions as we end the Vintage series. Congrats on that huge milestone. First off, I have to ask, are you both really completing this leg of the journey, or is somebody toying around saying he's watched every episode of the Vintage run? Well, we can answer. Dang. We're going to answer that in our next segment.
We are.
Matty D, your boy Eazy, he sees you when you're sleeping. He knows when you're awake. We covered this on the pregame show. You guys got to show up early for the the pregame show's hot. We talked about how Eric's effectively Santa Claus, and he didn't forget this toy.
No, I did not.
This one didn't stay back at Eazy's workshop. No, it's on the sleigh. It's coming up.
It's on the sleigh. Yeah.
Secondly, while there have been some good episodes this season, I really wish they had brought back some longtime allies and villains for the final goodbye. Rat King, Baxter, and many more would have been great to see. If you guys were in charge of this final season, Who would you make sure to bring in for the final curtain call? Thanks for the great show, and I look forward to catching up. Else time, yeah, boy, Matt AD. So
thanks, Matt.
that is a fantastic question. Thanks, Matt. This is a great email. The fact that you're such a short time listener, but you just dead ass know about Mikey Toys Around.
It is known. Yes,
that is fantastic. I'm so glad we got an email that references it.
Me too.
Man, that's like its own. It's like Christmas came early for your boy. You know what I'm saying? Who would you bring back? Okay, so I guess like okay, so he kind of limits it down to this season, the final season. So you got 8 episodes. You know, we got Shrang back. You know what I'm saying? So Shrang came back for the curtain call, so you know they got taken care of. I think that Matt has a good point about maybe. So I've had this thought in my head. My answer to this is going to be this.
Mm-hmm.
I've had this thought before when thinking about this series. Do you remember that episode? I'm gonna betray my elephant mind for TMNT animated series stuff in that I don't remember this episode.
Okay.
But do you remember the episode where they brought back the whole gallery of villains for that one episode where Shredder basically got them, and like it was like a Sinestro and like all these like one-off villains all came back to like team up on the Turtles. Do you remember that?
Yes, I do.
I wish that episode would have been the episode idea would have been literally plucked from that time. They would have put in like Mikey Toys Around Part 2 or something in that slot.
Right. Yeah.
And then they would have dragged and dropped it straight into season 10. I think season 10, it would also include Havoc. So Titanus and all those guys. So you got to get that season 8, 9 love as well, Red Skies. And bring them all back in one big episode and have it be like they've got to literally go through all that. My other addition really fast would be your boy Nog. Nog needs to come back and change reality and scare the living hell out of me. Put somebody in a cornfield, do a whole 9 yards. You're in the building, it turns into a candy cane. I need Nog. That's kind of my answer. I would like to see that Rogues Gallery episode in season 10.
Yeah, no, that's a good answer. I could probably just say Jess Harley, you know, get some Leatherhead coming back. Just you know, even if he was like the last thing you saw in the episode, like if he just showed up, like if he was just there, like he just makes everything better. And what could have been really neat is if they would have oh man, this might get into some of the Turtles come out and fight that contest that we got, but like if as a means to try and carry the show, like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, over into something else that's different but tangential, have like Ray Fillet and Mondo Gecko and like well not the Ray Fillet from the animated series because he was garbage, but all of the Mutanimals, and have that be a thing where they were like, well, we need one of you turtles to come with us to the future to help us, and take like one of the turtles with them from this series to like a Mighty Mutanimals thing that happens in the future. That would have been rad. And then, but that's all people that we've seen from the past in there, not necessarily rogues, or some that were, but that are now good guys, you know, that kind of thing. That would have been really neat. But yeah, but chief among them all, you know, Jess Harley, I would have loved to have seen Howie come back as a villain.
Oh my god,
that would have been amazing. Like especially if he was like if Howie was like an Arnim Zola kind of character. That would have been really neat, where he's just a mad scientist and just nuts. That would have been really cool. And then that's pretty much it, because like you said, Rat King, I mean, he shows up in the intro, so he's kind of been with us there, but like not really.
He did come back for a Red Skies.
He did, which was
he did come back for that, which was cool.
Yeah,
and maybe you should have sprinkled him through Red Skies. Maybe like that way it's not too much of like a Turtles This Is Your Life episode where you're like, oh my god, it's like, and they don't have time to do anybody right. But maybe they should have sprinkled them out where like now that Red Skies has happened, everybody's coming back for their last shot at the Turtles kind of thing. That would have been rad. Sweet.
Yeah,
that would have been sick. I forgot an email. We have one more email, and I'm so glad I didn't forget this. Emails have been jumbled up because once again, like I said, we have all these entries for the Turtles come out and fight that contest. Y'all gotta get, if you haven't done it, you gotta do it. You know what I'm saying? Confuse my email more. You know what I'm saying? Make it worse. Make this glob pop up just be like, I can't do it. I can't. They're all mixed up, but we forgot one email. This one's from Noah. This is our real last email. This is entitled "A Thank You Letter to the Triple D." That's right, the Deep Diving Daddies. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
I mean,
goodness.
I have never been more proud of a gloss.
Yeah,
than being called the Deep Diving Daddies. That is huge.
I've loved that.
So here we go. A letter to the Triple D. You know what I'm saying? This is it. So with the last episode of the 87 animated series coming up, it will put a cap on an incredible 10-year run of the TMNT cartoon, which to most of the Turtletarians was the gateway into the fandom. Mm-hmm. For me, the 87 cartoon was not as much as a staple. As it started when I was in high school, and I didn't really spend a lot of time watching cartoons like I would have if I was younger. The comics was what got me hooked, and hooked I stayed. The reason I bring this up is because the podcast gave me a good look into the cartoon that I never really had before. Ryan and Eazy's coverage gave me all I could have ever wanted. So much in-depth reviews and discussion about the episodes. It was like I was able to watch along with them. So for myself and the rest of the listeners, I want to thank you for giving us the journey. Looking forward to the rest of the adventure. Your Northern California correspondent and loyal Turtletarian, Noah. That one was hard to read because the tears are starting to come up a little bit.
Oh, goodness. Yeah, me too. Dang, thanks, Noah. Yeah,
Noah, thank you, man. That's awesome.
That's amazing because so Noah's got such a different perspective because
he does.
He's a little older than us, and so he said in high school that's when the cartoon started for him, and I'm like So and he was there from the comics, so that's fantastic. And the fact that like he got to experience the animated series with us, like you and I, we based our most of our show off of the Uncanny X-Cast podcast that we got into.
Yeah, huge influence when it started. Absolutely.
Totally. And going through some stuff with them simultaneously, even if it was the stuff they talk about like before that wasn't X-Men, like when they were talking about Game of Thrones, and I was going through that. Yeah, like that feeling was amazing, and I really enjoyed that. And I'm really glad that like I've gotten to be on the opposite side for some of this with y'all, and it means a lot to us. And so I really thank y'all for your kind words, and that we're
for sure
that we been able to go through this together, and so that's really rad.
Definitely,
I'm like super hyped on that. But
thanks, Noah. Thanks everybody who emailed. Yes, it means a lot, and we got so much more journey to do. It's wild, and I'm so excited for the future. It's gonna be so great.
It is.
So, moving on from emails, your boy Matty D called it. He put a call on it, but you know what, Matty D? Your boy Eric was already on it.
I was.
Your boy Eric went back. Not just did he do his review of Divide and Conquer. He went back to Michelangelo Toys Around. Now, we're going to do a very short segment before we get started with the last episode.
Right.
Because it's very important, everybody, that Eric and we got to hold hands and walk off into the sunset.
We do.
You know what I'm saying? Like the couple on the cover of that book from Beetlejuice. You know what I'm saying? Like the handbook for the recently departed. Like him and I got to hold hands and walk off, into this new future. But we got to be in lockstep. We got to be what do you Christians call it? Evenly.
Equally yoked. Yes,
equally yoked. We got to be both of these deep diving daddies got to be on the same yoke, pull in the same direction.
Right.
So we're going to do a very, very, very short review of Michelangelo Toys Around. This is episode 4 from season 3. It aired September 12th, 1990. This was from Turtle. We covered this on Turtle Soup episode 58.
Yeah.
Now He Dines on Turtle Soup, which was the super sad episode where James Avery had just died like 2 days before. Yeah. And we recorded a whole thing about him. And that premiered, that episode of Turtle Soup 58 premiered January 9th, 2014. So a whole ass 7 years ago.
Yeah.
The short background on this was that I did my full episode review. Because back then we each handled a whole episode. Yeah. So I did my full-on Michelangelo Toys Around. I ran it through the gaps. I made fun of what I had to make fun of. I laughed at what I had to laugh at. All this stuff. Eric's sitting there the whole time. Oh, right. And then at the end, he's like, I didn't watch that one.
Yeah, I missed it.
And I have you need to go back and listen to that. I have a visceral reaction. It is like someone just straight up like it is. If you've seen the Blair Witch Project, It's the moment that the guy admits to kicking the map in the river. When he goes, I kicked in the river. And the other two people go, basically, like, that's exactly what I did when he said he didn't do it. We held it over his head. Father Preston, he got his fangs into that fact and wouldn't let him finish. He would never stop bringing up Michelangelo was around.
Never stop.
Finally, 7 years later, Eric has watched the episode. He has his own little mini review going, Eric. Did you want me to run a so basically on this, or what do you want to do with that?
I don't know. I think we can. I don't know. I think I can handle it. I think I can do it. Or did you want to do it?
All right.
Did you want it? Okay.
I've been talking for like 100 years, so if you want to go.
Okay. So basically, I didn't even mean to do that. That just kind of came out naturally.
So no, I mean it's in the blood now.
It is.
It's in the blood.
So basically, the turtles are just hanging out in the lair. Michelangelo's having a dream, and it's a nightmare, which is nuts because it's all about toys and stuff, and these robot dinosaurs. No, that's actually in the episode. But nevertheless, he's having a nightmare, and he wakes up. Something about Toy Fair's going on, and he wants to go check it out. Well, he can't get in. They won't let him in. They threw the bum out because apparently the security guard was some member of the Foot Clan at some point because he yeeted Michelangelo out. So
back then, right? Like back then, like Toy Fair was not open to the public, right?
Back in the day. As far as my understanding is that it was a lot more of like business.
It was for tradesmen. It was for literally the companies doing the job.
Right. Because despite because April's on the internet a lot, making you think that a lot of people were on the internet there then, but it was nowhere near obviously what it is now, or what it was in 20 years ago, which breaks my brain. But in the early 2000s, where you started to see like websites get actual notoriety for, or companies, tradespeople, they recognized the importance of websites like, different media coverage. Like they started legitimizing it, at least is what I'm trying to get to. And so so this episode is a little dated in that regard, but nevertheless, Michelangelo does make some valiant efforts to try to get in. He can't get in, so he decides to. One of the turtles had said that he'd have a better chance getting in as a toy. He pretends to be one, hilariously, just standing very stiff. Hilarity ensues. He gets in. There's all this thing about like this guy named Weasel. He wants to be taken over this toy manufacturer. He wants to be the head guy. All this rope-a-dope happens and stuff, and it's the worst animation you've ever seen. Like this is one of the like most god-awful animated episodes of just almost any cartoon. Like very little. The only thing consistent about this episode is that it's just poorly animated. And it's funny because they look just it's so Playmates put out the Toon Turtles, and I never liked that because that wasn't the Toon Turtles to me. The Toon Turtles were like season 1 and the original intro, like that was the Toon Turtles. However, they must have based those figures off of Mikey Toys Around, that episode, because they look almost identical of how horrible they look. So anyway, one way or the other, Mikey gets in, but he pretends to be a toy, but then the boss's kid wants him, so they take him to his house and he befriends the kid. Kevin is his name. Kevin. Yes. And they do all this fun stuff, and then the turtles are like, oh no, Michelangelo, and then they try to get him, and they have all this stuff, and it's just obnoxious and just really horrible. And I hated every minute of it, except for the fact that it was like, oh, Toy Fair, that's cool.
I remember the ending to that episode the most. I remember the kid Kevin being a lot like the guy that steals the I guess he's a kid, but he's a grown man because Pee-wee's Big Adventure is the weirdest movie ever made.
Right.
The kid that winds up stealing Pee-wee's bike.
Right.
He's like mega rich.
Yeah.
What's his name? Oh my God. Francis.
Right.
Francis. The kid reminded me of Francis because at one point I remember two things from the episode. At one point, Mikey gets like trapped in his room full of toys, and it's like a gigantic room.
Yeah.
And that reminded me of Francis's gigantic like pool in like the bath. He's
right.
going to take a bath, but it's like a full size indoor pool. That reminded me of that scene. And I remember the end where Mikey defeats the like toy tycoon by literally like turning on all of Kevin's toys,
right,
and like leading them as like a small army like across the actual yard, and like destroying all the whatever toys that his dad made that were actually evil toys or whatever.
Right.
And I just remember being like, this. I think I ended it with like, "Yep, so that's how that ends," and you're like, "Ha ha, I didn't watch it."
Yeah.
So
yeah. So
yeah, that episode was a prime example of one of those old episodes that we would watch, and we actually got kind of a lot more pleasure out of just like laughing at like some of the crazy stuff on there, and like,
the absurdity of it. Yeah. But now I've watched it, so that's there, and I never will watch that episode again because that was not fun.
That was in the era, if I'm not mistaken. Part of what fueled my anger in that moment when you said you hadn't watched it was because around that era, we would just go every other episode. So I would always do the first odd number episodes,
right,
which kind of killed me because I love even numbers, but I would always do the first. So I did 1, 3, 5, whatever, and you did evens.
Right.
Well, all your episodes were like cool. All your episodes like had different names and they were cool.
Mm-hmm.
I got ones that they were all turtle name episodes.
Yeah.
Leonardo does this. Michelangelo blah. Donnie does a thing.
Right.
And those turtle named episodes were atrocious.
Yeah, they were bad.
And I look up the schedule for like what we're doing, look down the episodes, and it'd be, oh, there's all the odd number episodes, turtle named episodes. They're going to suck. Meanwhile, Eric got like cool ones, and I'm like, God, you used to kill me. So the fact that I suffered through that, then Eric's like, I didn't watch it. Destroyed me. But it's great. It's great to have you fully in lockstep with me now.
Yeah. It's great to be here. And I like having that, because you take the good, you take the bad. You know what I'm saying? Get Facts of Life, and you got the entire.
That sounds like Facts of Life to me.
It does, and you get the entire 87 animated series under your belt, and that's a thing. As we keep saying, a monumentous occasion. So so there you go.
I think I've been saying austere. I think I've said austere like 800 times because that's the word I decided on, and that's just what I'm using.
I like it.
So with all that aside, now that we've taken care of a 7-year-old debt, turtle debt that you had,
right?
You still haven't given me the money for the Teenage Mutant Bald Eagle bet, but that we don't need that to go forward.
Oh, okay.
We're good now.
We're good.
You can just put that on credit. We're fine.
Okay, cool, got it.
Are you now ready to embark on this final episode review?
I think so. I think I am.
So we have an what do you guys call it? Invocation? Yes. We have an invocation.
Okay.
By our boy Malik. He recorded this. He recorded an invocation. I removed it. I did not mention it in the email he wrote because I wanted to play it as a surprise.
Okay.
This is Malik's recording of a promo that he recorded for the last episode of the animated series. He says, literally, his section on it goes like this: I even thought of a cool promo for this episode. Had CBS bothered to promote it and hype it up.
There you go.
And we're going to play it now. We're going to ask for a moment of silence as Malik sets us on our way.
For 10 long years, they battled the forces of evil and ate pizza. But this Saturday, it all ends here. Evil Lord Dreg versus Earth's Ninja Turtles in a final clash. Only one team will walk away, and the losers get shellacked. Don't miss the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles finale this Saturday in prime time, only on CBS.
Goodness.
For 10 long years, they battled.
There you go.
Oh God, we don't need to invoke twice.
Right? No.
Oh God. Okay. Goodness. Thanks, Malik.
Thank you so much, Malik. That sounded amazing. That was awesome.
It did. It sounded really good. I mean, like, I really wish that Action Zone would have dropped that. You know what I'm saying? Here we go.
Okay.
Now, this is the 8th and final episode of the TMNT animated series. It is entitled Divide and Conquer. Air date. It aired November 2nd, 1996. It was written by Jeffrey Scott and David Wise, directed by Tony Love. And here we go. Flip it on.
I'm getting
Anytime.
there.
Warm it up. Slimed him.
There we go.
Oh, there it is.
I had to get the TV on.
There it is. Dude, they don't warm up.
They don't.
They need time to warm up.
I
don't
should have
just
warmed the
turn
tubes
on
up.
now.
Yeah, that's true.
It's fine. You know what? It's live.
It is.
We're doing it live. We open, everyone, on an abandoned airfield. What I believe is an abandoned airfield somewhere in the absolutely ravaged outskirts of Red Skies, New York.
Mm-hmm.
The Turtles are currently getting their butts kicked by a tall-ass alien boy with a saw blade boomerang disc and a plasma blaster replacing one of his hands. The alien pulls out what looks like a high-tech stopwatch at some point and declares that in 10 seconds, he wins. Mikey rolls up in what appears to be a B-52 bomber that was just on the... There's your boy's face right there.
Yeah,
By the way, this tall alien boy, he is just tall alien boy with some armor. He's got some purple globe eyes,
and he's got
an alien,
the Predator dreadlocks going, and
alien dreadlocks. And he looks down this runway at your boy Mikey in this B-52, and he goes, "That is an actual piece of shit." And Mikey goes, "It's an old piece of shit, thank you. And it's going to kill you." Now, your alien boy does manage to blast off one of the propellers, disabling one of the engines on Mikey's approach, but no cigar.
Right.
Mikey pulls that thing into a badass e-brake slide. He e-brake slide that old thing. He does and uses the tail of the plane to knock tall alien boy right on his ass. Now, as he does this, Leo runs to the alien and stands over him, demanding why he is on Earth in the first place. But the alien simply grabs Leo's belt, snaps it right off.
What was that?
And he's like, "Got him," and beams away. And Leo is effectively half naked now.
Yeah, which is
he
very
doesn't
weird.
wear much.
No. The Turtles don't have much clothes, but seeing them without any of their stuff is very odd. Don't like it.
It is a problem. You know what I'm saying? Guys like Porky Pig, Winnie the Pooh, they can go pantsless. You know what I'm saying?
They can.
The Turtles kind of run that, but they got the belt. It's kind of like a turtle G-string.
Exactly.
Snap that G-string off. Now there's nothing left to the imagination. You know what I'm saying?
Nothing left.
And yeah, this boy beams away. He's like, "I'm out."
Yep.
So this frustrates the Turtles because they catch us up a little bit. They mention that this is the 6th alien this week to appear, come out and fight them.
Yeah.
And then get beamed back up immediately before they can interrogate them or figure out what is going on.
Right.
Now, Mikey does mention that the last one stole one of his best grappling hooks.
Right.
Which is kind of a bummer because that's all he's got, guys.
That's all he's got.
He doesn't have nunchucks. Matty D, you want to know what I want? I want Mikey to have nunchucks in the last damn episode. It's the last episode. It's the last episode. They've been on now for at least 8-9 years with Mikey not using his nunchucks.
Right.
The UK can shove it. They can just they can bless the Queen and they can pour over 8-9 years of data and say how many people died from nunchucks? No one. Okay,
no
cool.
one?
We can
Okay.
have nunchucks on the Ant-Man series again. It's okay. Ninja gangs, did they ever develop? Oh no, that was just British Fox News. Okay, cool. That was a lie. So it never happened. So we can just not.
Right.
But instead, that's what I want. I want Mikey to have his damn nunchucks, and he doesn't have them for the last episode. It's a little annoying. And now he's talking about his best grappling hook. Remember back when the Turtles all had grappling hooks, Eric? Remember that?
Yeah.
Remember when they, in addition to weapons, and then they had to back off? It's what's Mikey's thing?
Yeah, I literally watched an episode, Ryan, before I watched this one to catch up, and it was an older episode. And all 3 of the Turtles, except for Mikey, because he was somewhere else, he was toying around. They used their grappling hooks and they flew across a hangar basically with those grappling hooks.
Yes.
And it just made me, it broke my heart because they all have their weapons still, but Michelangelo, he had magic nunchucks.
He had magic
and then they had to take it
nunchucks.
away from him. But, what
anyways, yes, that's a thing. But anyway, The last one. So for those keeping track, alien number 5 that beamed in. Got them that best grappling hook, which Mikey's probably still got on payments. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, definitely from Splinter.
Hope he had gap insurance for that. But pops out and they're just left like this. What actually is happening?
Mm-hmm.
So we cut to what looks like an alien dive bar in Dimension X. Pretty cool hopping place. Kind of reminds me of like Mos Eisley Station from Star Wars a little bit. I think it's kind of what it's supposed to invoke as a feeling of Mos Eisley.
Right. Definitely that.
This is a place just full of every kind of weird alien. You never get two of the same kind. That's the doorman keeps track of that. You know what I'm saying? Doorman's like, do we have a dude that drinks purple liquid that comes out of his robotic eye socket? Takes a look. Yep, he literally just poured a shot from his own eye and smiled warmly at his friend. You can't come in because you're that same boy. And he's like, no, I may have a robotic eye socket, but I do not drink the contents. He's like, that's a lie.
Yeah, that's a lie.
And he's like, I do drink the contents, but my name is George. And he's like, don't care.
Nope. Doesn't get
Back of the line. I'll let you know when the other boy leaves.
When he's
you
gone.
know what I'm saying?
Right.
So one of a kind alien bar. That's what's happening. Full of every ruffian you can see. Dregs just walk around this bar pushing people around. Dreg is at home. Dreg is like, I got you, boys. Get out of my way, dumb little alien with 8 eyes. I don't care. And I'm figuring something out. We see a vortex transporter in the corner, and suddenly the alien that the turtles were just fighting gets beamed into it. Yeah. Someone with a stopwatch stops the watch and basically says he made it 90 seconds. Everyone cheers. Dreg loudly proclaims to the bar that anyone who can last 90 seconds fighting the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles of Earth will be given great wealth beyond their wildest dreams.
Right.
Just as he says this, at this table, a huge table full of really tough-looking aliens flip the table and like walk over there to like, yeah, we'll do it, to accept the challenge.
Right.
Meanwhile, driving up a scary mountain road on devastated Earth, Mikey's behind the wheel. You know what I'm saying? Mikey drives now. Donnie used to drive it all the time. They seem to have a bit of a shift in how we do this. I kind of like Mikey driving, frankly. I think that, I'll be honest, he's actually the turtle I probably trust to drive the most.
Interesting. Well, I mean, since you took his way as nunchucks.
Because it's animated series world. Okay. Not normally. If it was like he was in today's world, I'd be like, Leo, would you drive?
Right.
But because we're in animated series world, things get a little kooky, a little crazy. You need somebody with some, dude, like you need a little somebody behind the wheel that can roll with those punches.
Right. Yeah. I get it. And he does a good job, I feel like, especially in this episode. Like he holds it together.
Yeah.
So
he does. So Mike's behind the wheel and the turtles are zooming along in the party wagon, trying to figure out why they keep getting attacked by random aliens that fight them, then just peace out for no reason.
Mm-hmm.
Mikey then starts moaning about this awful itch he's had since the first alien they fought early in this week.
Yeah.
Imagine it's Friday night.
Mm-hmm.
Your boy Mikey's like, man, I've had this itch since like Sunday night, like Monday morning kind of. I just don't know. Everyone's like,
what?
And then in a rather disturbing display, probably one of the more disturbing things I've ever seen in the animated series, so thanks a lot, guys, because you topped it. Mikey reaches up under his shell from behind and declares that something is stuck in there.
Yeah.
Then he pulls it out, and I was left asking myself a lot of questions I don't need to ask. About the turtle's posterior. Where does the shell join their butt?
Yeah.
What kind of gappage is there? Is that gappage clean? Do you wash that? Have they ever washed that? There were a ton
of
weird questions I didn't want.
You remember they live in the sewer, and then it all kind of just comes together, and you're like, wow, this is getting a little too real.
The sewer slimalingus of it all really hit me.
Yeah.
And I was transported to a world of possibility that I didn't want.
Exactly. Yeah,
Not
I had the same thoughts and feelings. Yeah, that was I
It
was
was
like,
weird.
what is going on? But I will give it credit because it did get my attention again. Where this, after so many
True.
episodes of this, it did make me go, "What am I watching? What is this?" Like, so I gotta give it credit for that.
I mean, I feel like you could have put it like under his belt. Or like,
That's true.
Like kind of woven into his belt material, and like that's because it's a microbot. I mean, I hate to tell you guys.
And
Spoiler alert.
it is.
It's a
And
microbot,
then,
so it could have weaved its way. Like, and he's like, "What's this bump on my belt? That's weird."
and then
Wait, is that a microbot? He could have pulled it out, and that would have been it. Instead of basically digging in his ass for it, which was kind
Right.
of weird.
It is weird. And then you get this shot here that we're seeing where it's like it's an impossible shot because it's from behind the turtles that are driving the turtle van. So where is the back of the seat? Like,
I think
how are we
in that angle? Yeah, I feel you. I think if I had to explain it, I think he's kind of perched up on the edge of the seat. Like they say the whole seat, but Mikey only needs the edge.
It only needs the edge because he's got the itch. Right. There you go.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
That's
think
all I
that's
needed.
part of kind of what they're doing. Although it is
Okay.
a weird angle.
It is.
So, yeah, pulls out a microbot. That's a microbot. Donnie goes, that looks like a microbot, and that is emitting a signal. And the turtles quickly realize that's a tracking device.
Yep.
And that's probably how the aliens know where they are. Because we also learned that the aliens beam right next to them every time, which is probably the most disturbing part of like the whole experience.
Oh, it has to
It's
be.
not like the early warning system goes off and they have to go find another alien. It's like, no, like you're at the house.
Yeah, you're just
and
chilling.
Like right now.
Right.
Like that's intense. That gives me like a Battlestar Galactica like 33 minutes vibe.
Oh, right.
Where the
yeah.
silence attack every 33 minutes and it starts to drive everyone nuts.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, not knowing what's going on and it being like, I'm about to go to bed. Let me brush my teeth. Like another alien. Like that would just be awful.
Oh, terrible.
So it maybe if Mikey had better hygiene, maybe if we washed the crevice between our posterior and our shell,
exactly,
we would have found it a week ago. But anyways, it's out the window. But guess what, y'all? Too late for that.
Too late.
Boop. It's happened now. Because what I can only describe as Goro's hot sister from the future shows up.
Yeah, that's great. Yes.
And it's not cool. She's in the back of the party wagon. It is screw your Trojan horse. This is an immediate boarding. This is the scary boarding party from Star Trek.
Yeah.
Because they don't have to have a breaching pod or anything like that. They just show up on your bridge.
Right.
That is without a doubt. Eric, on a scale of 1 to 10, how terrified were you the first time the Borg beamed onto the bridge of the Enterprise?
Oh, horrified. I was like, if
I
they
was
can do that, what else
11,
can they
12.
do? Yeah.
I was 11, 12 terrified.
Yeah.
Out of 10. And I rewatched a lot of TNG a couple years ago, and it re-terrified me like I saw it the time I saw it.
Oh yeah.
I was like,
yeah. Oh yeah. Because that show,
like,
what that show does is it endears you to like the crew and everything, and you're the only way you'd be okay with it if them just showing up was if it was in Wesley's quarters, and if they got rid of Crusher, then that's fine, because then Dr. Crusher would then be like, in mourning, and then you can console and
then like Dr. Crusher would be single and ready to mingle with Picard at that point.
Well, yeah, you have to get rid of Picard eventually, but then
the
the Borg does that too.
We close that,
and then
loop.
You're good. Exactly. So it all comes together.
We close that loop.
Yeah,
and then we're good.
So yeah,
that's what this reminded me of. Deadass. I was like, that is awful.
I hadn't thought of that,
shit.
but you're absolutely right.
Like it's because normally in Star Trek universe, when your shields are up, you can't beam through them. So the only time they get boarded is when the shields go down.
Right.
The Borg just turn their shields off and go in, and it's the scariest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah.
So the second scariest thing I've ever seen is Goro's hot sister from the future show up, and that's not good. She got 4 arms. She's kind of bluish purple, weird alien type head with the hair things.
Yeah.
She's got 4 arms. One set of arms have a massive blaster gun. She blows the front windows out the party wagon right now. Donnie's got a duck. And Donnie starts legit saying, like, I can't drive this thing if she's blasting, so could y'all take care of that?
Michelangelo says that.
Sorry, Mike. Who did I say, Leo?
You said Donatello.
Donnie?
Yeah.
Okay. Either way, yeah. Mikey has a lot of lines in this part. I really like it. Mikey's like, so there's a theme in this episode that I want to call out right now that I really like, and it's that the turtles are mature.
Yeah.
I want to throw that out here.
That's
there
true.
is a feeling in this episode. You can tell this is like some David Wise hand, I hope, kind of guiding it, going, this episode we're going to show the turtles have kind of learned how to take care of stuff. Like this is the culmination. This is the first time. Mikey's just like ducking, being like, guys, could you actually get Goro's hot sister off me? Because like I can't drive the car.
Right.
And everyone's like, sure, like we're going to try. Okay. So we're doing that. Well, taking care of Goro's hot sister from the future is way easier said than done, as she shows her ability to also be a shapeshifter, turning her upper left arm into chains. And if that wasn't enough, the minute Donnie says, guys, she's a shapeshifter, she goes, I'm also Animal Man, and turns herself into a rhinoceros.
Yes. Nuts.
Which has a vague My Little Pony look to it. I don't know why. It might be the color, because it's like a light blue color.
It does,
and the way that the mane hangs over, and her eye has like an iris with a color in it.
Right, that's it.
There's a shot where they get, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think it's the eye. I think it's definitely the eye.
Yeah, there's a shot where you don't have it there. I don't know if you ever grabbed it, but there's a shot where they're really close to her eye, and you see the mane coming over, and I was like, that's kind of like a My Little Pony feel to it. It's very weird. But she's effectively a rhinoceros. Turns out Goro's hot sister's got more tricks in the bag than just chain arm.
Well, she's got 4 sleeves to keep all those tricks in, dude.
Absolutely. If she was a professor and had 4 sleeves on that gown, you'd never know what was coming out of it.
You'd never know
what I'm saying. And she'd be the wisest of all, because the biggest sleeves win. That's what Harry Potter taught me.
Yep.
And it's true. And Fire Emblem taught me the other half of that.
Exactly.
About big sleeves. You know what I'm talking about?
Yep.
Fire Emblem, 3 Houses.
Oh, yeah.
Y'all ain't played it. You got to play it.
You got to.
One of the best games I've ever played.
Yep.
Beautiful. So it turns out that she rams the back seat, so the second row seat, dead ass into the front seat. So if you're in the back seats, good luck, you're dead. Turns out that's not the case. And Mikey and Raph's riding shotgun. They are immediately pinned to the dashboard. It is not cool. Mikey's pinned to the steering wheel. Crazy mountainside road. Whole 9 yards is happening. And they're having trouble. Well, we figure out what Mikey's last words before a deadly car accident would be.
I love it.
As he simply shouts "Cowabunga" while going off the edge. Much like that time, Eric and I were at that 4-way stop, and that damn car almost T-boned us going about 80 miles an hour, and Eric went, eh. And I was like, that's the last thing you would have said before you died.
That's the last thing.
Mikey's last words are "Cowabunga," and I think that's actually amazing.
I think it is too, and I kind of want that to be mine.
Yeah, I mean, if we could stand strong enough in our final moments to have that be our last words, instead of "I'm dying," which will probably be everyone's last words. That's a good one. I also think that this shows the Turtles' maturity, because Mikey manages to say, guys, we're going off the cliff, and my last words in one statement. Because the way he shouts "Cowabunga" and you feel the guardrails go, they know what's up. They're like, well, those are Mikey's last words.
Right. Yep.
So we're going off the edge. See, that
happening.
speaks to that maturity, because I feel like season 2, 4, 5, he would have been like, guys, we're about to go over the edge. Cut to commercial break.
Right.
He doesn't need to say all that.
No.
We're about to be turtle soup. No, don't need to say it. I love the shout out, Mikey, but like you don't have to say that. You know what I'm saying? So Cowabunga says it all, and the party wagon breaks through the barriers and flies off the mountain. Mikey, midair, reminds everyone he cannot reach the emergency parachute controls. So if they could fix that, that'd be great. All of a sudden, Goro's hot sister from the future snags Donnie's bow staff out his hands like she owns it. Thanks the Turtles for the souvenir, and beams out of the van. Her total appearance in TAS was 42.7 seconds. So
that's true.
I don't know where the 90 seconds. I don't know if alien seconds are different.
Right. But
she lasted 42.7 seconds. But it's okay, because she wins.
She wins.
So Mikey's able to act now that he's not being pinned to the steering wheel, can actually activate the emergency parachute at the last second, and the party wagon touches down at the base of the mountain, and it's awesome. Getting out of the party van, your boys, the Turtles, come to the conclusion that since the tracking device was a microbot, because remember, they got caught in the middle of this. They were just about to go, this is some drag shit. But then Goro's hot sister appeared out of nowhere, and they had to take care of that.
Right.
Now resuming, they're like, this is some drag shit. And everyone goes, absolutely. Absolutely some drag. This is drag. So back at the Alien Dive Bar, back at Great Value Mos Eisley Station.
Right.
Goro's hot sister from the future returns, proudly displaying her captured bow staff in glory, and everyone cheers. This is a great moment. Everyone loves it. Dreg immediately calls an end to the contest as he looks over the 5 aliens that were able to last the full 90 with the turtles, which means, if you're keeping track, out of 7 aliens sent to Earth to fight the turtles,
right,
only 5 succeeded, which is a 71% success rate, which is pretty good.
Passing.
I think the denizens of Great Value Mos Eisley are probably pretty badass if 5 out of 7 could last 90 seconds with the turtles and get away and grab a souvenir. I mean, that's hard mode.
It is.
Like, I couldn't do that.
I couldn't either, but it makes me wonder, and I think I might bring this up later in my notes. I can't recall, but I think this is a good place for it too. That, like, I wonder if the turtles are actually any good at their roles, or if they're just really good at what. Let me rephrase. I wonder if the turtle villains are actually really good villains and really good fighters and bad guys and all that stuff. It's just that the incompetence that that gets put upon them comes from the turtles' own incompetence. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, the turtles wear them down over 20. Like, these villains can last like real quick in like a one shot, like real, like give me a minute and a half.
Yeah.
And and I can get the job done. But if you ask me to do it in 20 minutes or like 19 minutes, can't do it because they have time to like figure me out.
Yeah, because honestly, in the first 90 seconds, the turtles typically eat it, and then after like the 90-second mark, they start rope-a-dope.
Right.
Like they get time to like figure out the rope-a-dope, and then they rope-a-dope you, and they pull the ancient Foot Clan technique of make you shoot your friend.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Maybe that's what Dreg's all about. Maybe Dreg, like, you know, because he's all about the numbers. Your boy Dreg's all about the metrics. He's like, it takes about 90 seconds for the turtles to start to rope-a-dope. I just want to know how you hang. Can you kick the turtles' ass?
Right.
Is what he's saying. Like, can you put them down for 90 and then peace out?
Exactly.
Because that's what I need.
And I love this. I think this is fantastic. Plan. Absolutely.
Pretty smart plan. Now, he looks over the 5 aliens, and I don't know if you got this shot.
Did you
get the shot of all of them?
Unfortunately, I did not.
Damn. So I didn't take time to name them. I was kind of hoping we could name them together because it'd be really funny. Because I think ever since we named we nicknamed one of the Mighty Mutanimal villains as Skull Dick Punisher, I've always wanted to name more people. But it's fine. Let's just say that the real remarkable one is a dude that has like eyes and a stalk. I think that's actually one of them. Right in that frame to the right. I think that's one of the guys he winds up picking. I might be wrong. There's another guy that I like to call Doughboy. He's a huge, like,
I think I've got a picture of them.
Gray. He's a huge, like, gray ball of like dough kind of thing.
Yeah.
Oh, that's them. Yay! You got it.
I did.
Yes. Okay. So this is I'm gonna gloss these guys, the Fearsome 5.
Okay.
These are the Fearsome 5. That's how I refer to them in the notes. We've already met Goro's hot sister from the future.
Right.
She's chilling.
Should we just call her Gora?
Just trade off naming them.
Should we just call her Gora?
Yes.
There you go.
Oh
that's
my
easy.
God. Yes.
That's easy. It writes itself.
Gora. That's beautiful. Okay, so that's Gora.
Okay, I want to name the guy or the person, the thing above her to the left.
Okay.
That's C3P No. How about that?
C3P No. Oh my God. That's exactly who that is. Oh shit. Okay. For audio listeners, you guys really gotta like watch this on YouTube. I'm sorry, I know we keep pushing YouTube, and if you're not watching on YouTube by now, you're probably like, yeah, I just do pod. But you gotta see his visual. So this guy is actually C3P Now. That's just, if you want my character description for the audio podcast, imagine C3PO if there was a roach wearing his parts, and that's what he looks like. He's Garbage Town.
I was gonna say too. It's like if C3PO is like, what would I look like if I had some fleshy stuff, and then like he just puts his own fleshy stuff on, and then it's like no. Okay, so
yeah. I'm gonna call the guy to Gora's right. Krang's terminally ill father.
This is the first guy. This is the first alien that we saw, right? Is that who you're talking about?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So
No. The guy to Gora's right, the guy that looks kind of like Meatwad if he was made of plums and not meat.
Oh, okay.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
I do.
Am I wrong
I do.
Here? To the right?
To the right, but down.
Did we watch the same episode?
Well,
to the right, but down.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That guy. Okay.
He looks like Krang's terminally ill father. Am I wrong? Or we can call him Plum Meatwad. But like he's one of those two to me.
That's fair. Hold on, you're saying her right? Okay, goodness, I'm getting crossed up.
I'm talking about stage right, brother. I'm talking about stage right to the right of her in the photo.
The guy that looks like a California raisin with the tentacles.
Okay. Yes.
That guy.
Yes, that guy.
Guy.
I'm going out either for Krang's terminally ill dad or Plum Meatwad.
Okay, I'm gonna say they just refer to him as the devil's lettuce. Because your boy's eyes.
So I may have named Goro's hot sister, but you're slaying with these two names now. I think Devil's Lettuce is the best name for that guy.
Yeah.
God.
Yeah,
I got to get back in the game.
Yeah, you're not wrong though. You're not wrong. He does look like
you're edging me out a bit right now. Go for the next one. Pick. We got two more. We got the guy we saw earlier, and we got your boy.
Okay, I oh my goodness, I've got one, but it's really bad. I don't want to do it. It feels like it's insensitive. I don't know. It might be funny, but it's like I don't know. This might be like inappropriate. It's
oh no.
No, I don't know that I can do it. It's bad. But because I was gonna name the dude with the feathers that kind of looks like Donatello a little bit, but he looks like a mixture of Donatello with the Pokemon Graveler. But just more of like a potato version instead of a rock version of him. But forgive me for this, please, everyone. But I was trying to think of like, okay, the feathers make him look like when I see feathers, especially in like a cap, I think of like a headdress. So I think of like Native American stuff, and I was like, oh, what's like a and we're naming 90s characters. So I'm like, okay, what would someone in the 90s name this character? Like if they were going to name him and he kind of looks like Donatello because I guess one of the feathers is purple. So I was thinking about what's close to Donatello? And I was like, Navatello or like a Navajo, like that. But like
Eric, we're not doing that.
But I was like, I can't do that. So I didn't do it. So I wasn't going to say
tell you this.
So I'm glad that we didn't say it. But that's what I was thinking, and I was like, no, we can't do that.
It sounds
but
like
that's what the 90s. But that's what someone in the 90s would have done.
No. Okay, so no. Well, okay, so we can actually add a whole other layer if you want to go into like jokes that flew in the 90s, because that's what they would have called him then.
Right.
And Native peoples would have just been angry, but then no one cared.
Right.
I hate to say it. It's just because he's made of like goo. That's all it is.
That's all it is.
But my one might also be offensive. They might think when I see that guy is Goo Manchu.
That is something the 90s would have totally. The 90s would have totally named him that.
But that's also kind of like culturally insensitive. You want to know something that changed John Klein between when we did the 3-hour death fall of the Technodrome and right now is we would have made both those jokes, laughed at them a lot, and we would have chosen one of those names. That's what we would have done.
Yeah, but now we're
7 years ago.
Yeah, but now we're better.
Let's move on. I got
one.
I got you on the other guy.
Okay,
I got you on the other guy real fast.
Okay, what's that?
Yeah. That guy's Roach Daddy.
Roach Daddy. Okay.
Roach Daddy.
It's
short and sweet.
He couldn't be Papa Roach, because that's the
Yeah, it's a little on the nose. It's a little on the nose, Papa Roach. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, his life has been cut into pieces.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it looks like it. I get it, but Roach Daddy just sounds funnier to me, and it also has daddy.
So I was thinking, what if the potato looking guy is just Sweet Potato? That's all his name. He's just called Sweet Potatoes. No, it's plural. He's just Sweet Potatoes, and that's
sweet.
Yeah.
Can we do sweet potatoes? It has to be like
potatoes. Yes.
Yes.
So
potatoes.
yeah. But
all right. So we've got Gora, C3PO,
the
Devil's Lettuce. we got Roach Daddy, and we've got what was his name again?
Sweet potatoes.
Sweet potatoes. Yeah. That's the fearsome five. I'm really glad we did this.
I'm glad we didn't do the 90s names. The 90s names, they just they're
not great.
They're
not great.
So
they're not great. They're not great. But we wound up naming them. You know what I'm saying? That's the fearsome five, everybody. Okay, that's the best that Great Value Mos Eisley Station has to offer as far as people that could go the full 90 with the TMNT.
Yes.
All right. So back in the lair, Leo lays it out like this. Leo's a man that, once again, he's a mature man. Now he goes, all right, I'm just going to plainly state the problem. He says, why would aliens attack us for no apparent reason, take something of no value, then just leave after 90 seconds? Donnie wonders if there have been other random alien sightings. He's like, well, have they been going anywhere else or just us? And this makes Mikey call April in probably the most awkward way he's ever called April.
Yeah.
He calls April, and his first words are, hey, April, you still up?
Still up.
Which I feel like is probably a callback to how Mikey probably called her back in the day. When he was still kind of, I feel like this is a moment.
Mm-hmm.
Where this is probably how we used to call April back when he was probably a little bit cat butt on the floor about her a little bit.
Oh,
you know what I'm trying to say?
Yes.
He was a little bit like meow, wow about April a tad. He probably used to call her late at night with some emo shit like, April, you still up? And she's like, yeah, I'm up. I'm working. I'm always up. I don't sleep.
Right.
What's up? He's like, you ever think about the stars? And she's like, no, and hangs up. And it's embarrassing. They don't talk about it anymore.
No,
you know what I'm saying? Like, it was a phase. Mikey's over it. This shows his maturity.
Oh yeah.
But it's a little bit of a callback. It's a little bit of that, like, you know, but I need that comfort of the past. And it was a little awkward too, because, you know, we then cut to April's apartment, and, you know, it's pretty chill. You know,
it
chill
is.
Hops riding, you know what I'm saying? Rainy vibe, you know, fresh breeze through the windows. You know, it's New York in the fall. Not really cold yet. It's not very cold at all. The windows are open like they always are, but it's a little crisper tonight. I got a hoodie on. You know, I'm on the couch.
Oh, goodness.
I'm reading old issues of Popular Mechanics. Actually, we found those down the street. Some old man was just throwing them away, and I just grabbed them all up, and I said, "I'm gonna read these tonight."
Some man's
We're
trash.
sitting there. We got a party pizza. We got a party pizza in the oven. We didn't tell the turtles that we're cooking pizza. It's a snack, actually.
Okay.
But it's nice to sometimes make food for snacks, right? To make like a meal for a snack. It's pretty cool.
It is.
Nice. So I'm on the couch. I'm just sipping some hot Earl Grey tea, and it's great. And April's working on another non-turtles related story, so that's really great. But so
all right,
pretty
that's
awesome.
cool. That's cool. But then Mikey just calls.
I'm not in the episode, but Mikey calls. Are you still up? And I'm like, oh man,
yeah.
I guess I'm gonna go home. And then April picks up, and and Mikey's like, you awake? And she's like, you know it. And he's like, cool. All right. Then he gets himself together. He's like, there been any weird alien sightings lately? And she's like, well, not that I know of, but I'll check the net. Bless her heart. She's going to check the internet. And she's like, well, web pages take about 30 seconds each to load because it's 1996. So I will call y'all back if I find any aliens. And they're like, sounds good. All right. Yep. See ya. So the turtles are still left in the lurch, though, because the internet didn't provide, because she's still trying to get on net zero. It's not happening. Not yet.
Happening.
And restarting the computer and everything. So the turtles are kind of left in a lurch about what's going on. You know what I'm saying? Like, but Donnie has at least traced the energy source of the transporter beams that are beaming the little alien boys back and forth. And they originate from the black hole, which apparently still exists. There's a black hole just right there.
Oh yeah,
because
just right there.
Left it there. I actually kind of love that. I love that, like, the actual solar system's changed, and now all the orbits of the planets are a little off, and no one knows how it's really going to shake out. But there is a black hole just off the edge of the solar system, just hanging out, and that's where they last saw Dreg. They're like, we last saw him in that black hole, remember? And everyone's like, yeah. Didn't we transport like a piece of a black hole into his ship? Yep. Yeah, he's probably not dead. True, probably not. Just then, Leo hears something coming from the living room part of the lair, and the turtles all hop into action, all like a booyakasha, like wooga wooga gaijin, like they all like hop in like hardcore.
Oh,
You know
yeah.
what I'm saying? Like, it's happening.
Mm-hmm.
It's just old dad. You know what I'm saying? It's old dad behind that screen.
Yep.
That's there for weird reasons.
For no reason.
Probably. I don't know why. I mean, like, because it doesn't really work as like a screen to get dressed behind. Because
it doesn't. And the turtles don't wear any clothes. The turtles don't wear any clothes either. So
and Master Splinter wears just that.
Yeah.
And you want to know it's kind of a cool fact, guys? If you played with the original 87 toys, you've seen Splinter naked.
You have.
You know what
You've seen his other burnt Cheeto.
You may have even seen the mothballs. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have no idea. But
you have no idea.
If you played with that old toy that had those soft goods, you lost that thing forever. And then Splinter was just naked running around the house. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, like just as God made him.
That's old news to us.
So yeah, it is. But maybe he hasn't shown that part of himself to the turtles yet. So the turtles find old dad Splinter behind the thing, and he quickly diagnoses that their nerves have them effectively like swinging at shadows, and that they need to roll over to the meditation mat and get some of that sweet astral plane time with him. You know what I'm saying? He's like, come and hang out with me. You guys heard Ryan talk about what it's like to just chill in April's apartment. Nothing creepy about it. We're just hanging out. It's just like a good night. You know what I mean? Like, you hear Ryan talk about that. You can have that on the astral plane kind of all the time. And Turtle's like, that's true. And there is like an awkward look where like Leo looks back at the guys like, are we gonna still do this? And they're like, yeah, we are. And they all sit down and we cut away.
Right.
So back on some asteroid Dimension X, I don't exactly know which one it is. Just one of those hunks of planetoid just hanging out.
Mm-hmm.
It's going down. It's going down here. This is probably my favorite scene from my half of this episode. I love the scene a ton. Malik referenced it in his email. I love this. I love the scene. So it's going down. So Dreg rolls up with the Fearsome Five and demands that Mung give him a container of the Microbots Toot Sweet right now.
Right.
Need it. The problem with that is that Mung's been working real hard in the kitchen trying to make up a ton of Microbots for the prepared invasion plan. We never get to know exactly what that plan is, but it's probably very similar to the invasion force plan we heard a while back.
Right.
It sounds like Mung is still operating. And yes, Dreg is on paper signed up with we do need the Microbots to build a crap ton. We'll build so many chicken robot walkers that the turtles can't stop them all.
Right.
And it'll happen. And that's the plan on paper. But Dreg's gone off paper quite a while ago.
Oh, yeah.
But Mung needs every single little bitty, itty bitty Microbot to make it work. And he's breeding them. Right. I love this detail.
Oh, yeah.
This is awesome. It takes Microbots to make more Microbots, right? And this is where they hit it right at the end of this. That you don't have to explain. I get it. Like, I get that, like, Microbots build things, they can also self-replicate. That's one of the things about nano machines that's really cool. They can build and repair other nano machines when you can. He needs them, though. He needs every one to reach the numbers because it's a pure mathematical equation, right? You have so many million particulates of these Microbots. They remake so many million particulates an hour, and the math says I need all of them. But Dreg rolls up like, but give me a vial of them. And he's like, that throws all the numbers off. Like, that will be exponential longer, like exponentially longer if you take Microbots now.
Yeah.
And he's brewing them up in these large metal containers that looks like something you'd see in a microbrewery.
I was just
which I'm actually also a huge fan of.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I love it. He's got Batman like checking the levels and the heat meters and stuff. And I'm all about that.
They do call them Microbots. So it is a microbrewery technically. Did I get you? Did I get you with that?
Oh.
So, yeah.
Oh man, that's really good. Damn, it is. It is a microbrewery. It's not kind of like a microbrewery. No, it is a microbrewery.
It's exactly like that.
Damn it! This episode's really good. It just reinforces on itself. It's just like it's got more.
It's
you know
got
what I'm
more.
Saying?
Oh yeah.
Dig a little deeper. Deep diving Daddy's going to bring it to you. You know what I'm saying? Either way. So Dreg is relentless. He won't stop with the Microbots. He's like, I don't actually care about it. I don't care about the plan. I just want to kill turtles.
Right.
Which causes Mung to kind of accuse him formally of losing sight of the mission, losing sight of the goals, and his obsession to defeat the turtles has driven him to make serious logical failures and faults.
Right.
And Dreg responds that he will destroy each and everything that stands between him and his plan to kill the turtles, including Mung.
Yeah.
Then he shoots the I-beams right past Mung as a little shot across the bow, straight into one of the large breeding containers,
Right.
causing it to rupture and spill its entire contents, the entire ass contents of that tank of microbots onto the floor.
Right.
Right there, Dreg effectively shoots any kind of actual formal plan in the foot.
Right.
And he then just scoops up a generous amount of this microbot business into his little metal flax, and he pieces out without a word.
Yep.
Leaving Mung to call, "You're mad, Dreg. Mad." Ladies and gentlemen, this is the last time we see Mung.
Yep.
Mung is left holding the bag on the Microbots brewery, the microbrewery, if you will. High Tech never does come back.
Never does.
I kind of love that.
Yeah.
I love that Mung in this scene just goes, "You're an actual moron." And you're not the guy I followed. They hinted at that all while Dreg was kind of getting a little bit more shreddery about getting the turtles. But I love that they pin it down here and they call it out. It's my favorite scene in my half of the episode anyway. So, on the Dreadnought, Dreg beams aboard with the Fearsome Five and declares that he only needs one more thing to launch his plan to destroy the turtles. Now, Gora, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Gora, if you need her.
Yeah.
She does the thing where she asks what Dreg needs, but Dreg knows that commercial break's coming up, so your boy goes, "You'll see."
You'll see. Oh, snap.
That's about it. So back in the lair, the turtles are sparring after their meditation session, and Splinter tells his students to make their minds as calm as still waters and try this sick new move I just taught you. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
And the turtles are like, yeah, man. And then Splinter's like, "No, Leo, like, get her done, bro. Like, Leo, pull it."
Right.
And Raph's like, "I don't know, though, because I'm badass." It's basically what Raph says. Raph goes, "I don't know if Leo can do the move to me because I'm so badass." And, Splinter's like, "Well, I mean, I don't know. Maybe we won't know until we see." You know what I'm saying? Leo, just do the move. Just do. And he does it. And so Raph knocks Leo on his ass. That happens. Then he strangely turns his back to Leo because he's like, "Done with you." And then Leo leaps up from the ground and onto Raph's back, where he proceeds to kind of bear hug him, and Raph can't really move. Turns out that's called the flying claw. You know what I'm saying? That is the last thing Splinter ever needs to teach, because Mikey sees the flying claw and goes, oh, walks up to Splinter and he's like, "You got anything else down in that cellar?" You know what I'm saying? Like, you got any more? Like, you got some vintage labels down there you can teach your boy, Mike?
Right? Because he doesn't have any weapons anymore. He's just got the grappling hook, so he needs all the moves he can get.
the light a little bit on this move. Mikey's like, "Yo, that's pretty effective." He's like, "You got anything for your boy though? The DL?" Your boy Splinter says this. He says, "Master the flying claw well, and you won't need another move."
Yeah.
Do you know what that is?
That's effectively his where we're going, we don't need roads. That's essentially the same thing.
That is the formal end of the turtles' education.
Yeah.
Is what that is.
That's it.
That is, I've taught you everything. I'm going to give you the last piece, the flying claw, and there's no more tech where that came from. That's the final tech. And I'm like, and looking back at how this episode ends, I'm like, that's cool as shit. That might be my second favorite scene in what I've done. So on the Dreadnought, the Microbots finally produce just what Dreg ordered, the Morphogenesis exoskeleton beginnings. You know what I'm saying? That was for golf thugs. You know what I'm saying?
That's a deep cut. Yes.
It is. So the Morphogenesis exoskeleton. I love it because
looks neat.
Google Docs corrected. I misspelled the Genesis in Morphogenesis. Yeah. And Google Docs redlined it, and I go, "Oh, because it's Morphogenesis. That's not actually a word." I right click it, and it goes, "No, I'll do this. Just correct Genesis at the end, make it spell right. It's IS." Oh. I'm like, Google, that's what's up.
That's what's
so
up.
Google's like, I recognize morphogenesis. I'm like, badass, really?
Dang.
So that was when it was at my back. You know what I'm saying? So Dreg tries out the suit. He hops in and immediately sprouts Doc Ock arms. That just happens.
Mm-hmm.
Grabbing the Fearsome Five, who immediately figure out that Dreg is not here to ask them to just have dinner.
No.
Or just to like, let's go kick the turtles' ass. They go, it's a trap. And I expected Dreg to go like, no, I'm simply testing my weapons. He goes, it is a trap.
Yep.
Let me address you all formally. Go back a frame.
Okay.
Go back a frame. I need to see my team again.
Mm-hmm.
He says, Gora, Devil's Lettuce, Sweet Potatoes, Roach Daddy, C3PO. You're right. I did pull a fast one. You're not going to go fight the turtles. You're going to be absorbed into my actual armor, and I'm going to gain all your powers.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to go fight the turtles because that's where it's headed. They're like, you can't do this. And, the Sweet Potatoes is the only one that has a good line. He's like, I'll crush you like a rock or some dumb thing he says. And,
right.
and your boy Dreg's like, I don't actually care. And he activates the red energy that goes down the Doc arms and absolutely shrinks them itty bitty. And then they disappear.
Yeah.
And they're gone from existence. And they're just in his armor. And he can just do what they do. Fearsome Five, out. You know what I'm saying? That team of 5, we named them all. Guess what? Divide and conquer, it doesn't cut no slack. They're gone, guys. They're dead. That's what's up. Dreg absorbed them. They're mine now. That's how we're rolling this. That's how we're going to end this episode. We're moving into the middle arc of it. The crescendo, if you will.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. I took them in my body.
That's
now
insane.
I'm going to kill the turtles with them. That was awesome. That was so great. They pulled this whole, I'm going to pull my A-team together thing, and they just flipped it on us. And they're like, actually, what if I just absorbed you? Yeah. I am a huge fan.
I am too.
So, satisfied that he now has everything he needs to beat the turtles, Dreg beams down to Earth. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
In the lair. Leo drops that flying claw as he is seemingly propelled off the ground with a natural force, flies like 40 feet.
Right.
Grabs a punching bag hanging from the ceiling, yanks it down off the ceiling.
Mm-hmm.
Lays there on the ground like, I'm a flying claw master. Looks up at the other turtles. What are they doing, Eric?
They're just lounging. They're just hanging out.
They are slacking it.
Mm-hmm.
They're just like, looks like a union coffee break.
Yeah.
Like just on the wall. Just laid there. Like the Teamsters aren't working for the next 15 minutes. They're just laying there. Leo drops like, hey, honestly, y'all should be practicing this flying claw business because when the other aliens come, you need to be able to use this. Raph looks at him and drops, if the aliens come.
Right.
It's been hours. Early warning system. Early warning system goes off. Raph immediately looks wrong as hell. Loud and wrong. Right there at the end. And they run to the early warning system. Donnie finds that it has actually detected someone has beamed into the city.
Right.
The turtles run out to seek the answers. In them streets, the turtles follow the signal to a patch of open ground where none other than Dreg, replete in his morphogenesis exoskeleton, beckons them forward into combat.
Yeah.
And Eric, I hand it to you, sir.
Thank you. Yeah. So, Dreg's in his suit, and this suit's pretty neat. I don't know if we went into too much detail, but it's basically,
we did.
Like it looks like he's got Colossus skin with like some extra weird, just attachments to him. And then he's got, the Xbox logo 5 times on his chest.
Oh my God. I was about to say 5. I was about to say he has 5 Xbox logos on his chest. That was the next thing out of my mouth. Oh,
and it's not a bad look. I like it as a power up. I don't like it as a final I like it as a final form potentially, but I don't like it as a default form. I like it as normal.
It serves a purpose. It's here that you notice that it has 5 Xbox logos, and guess what those do? That's where the 5 arms come out to absorb people.
Exactly.
Like Dreg designed that thing to grab 5 of the baddest ass aliens from Great Value Mos Eisley and suck them in.
Right.
And then those holes are done. Now they're sealed up with the Xbox logo, and he's good.
So the Turtles, they feel like there's more to this than just Dreg, because it's like, why is this one guy that we've beaten multiple times, like, why is he going to be coming up in here? And but Dreg assures them that there is no one here but him. And so they so then Dreg hits some of the buttons on his suit, and this enlarges him to be about 3 stories tall. He proceeds to inform the Turtles that the aliens who they've been fighting were the best in all of the galaxies. So not just like our galaxy, but like every galaxy. And he now possesses all of their powers and grows 2 more arms, which is Gora's ability. And yeah, and then those arms, Ryan, they turn into tentacles, and he picks up a pile of bricks and yeets them at the Turtles. Just this pile of bricks. Just have all the bricks, and
just have every one of them.
Every brick. Then one of the arms transforms into a blue chain that he whips at the Turtles, and again, I think this is Gora's abilities. So he whips this giant arm chain at the Turtles. Donnie's foot actually gets caught in one of the links. And the weird thing is that all during this, and more specifically, whenever Raphael and Michelangelo try to pick up the chains to get Donnie free, the chains make like actual chain noises, like they're made of metal.
Yes.
So is this flesh? Is this metal? Which, if you picked up a flesh chain, that just feels very strange.
Yes, I think that they probably had a dub sound effect that they went through a lot of like trouble to make for what a flesh chain would sound like.
Right.
But probably what I heard, this is just a rumor on the street. It was while creating the thing they needed for the Foley sound effect, they actually had to kind of make a flesh chain, and everyone went crazy.
Oh, goodness. I can imagine.
Because when you hear the saying of a flesh chain on the ground, like rolling, that just drives you crazy. I mean, everyone was dead.
Oh, yeah.
And they just put metal sounds in. Also, one time, this is not a joke. When I worked for my dad, we would sell like grade 80 lifting chain, and stuff for like boat anchors and like for construction work.
Right.
And the chain got pretty damn big. Well, one time I thought I could slip my hand in between those links because, I mean, there was a good gap, and I did it. But for a very scary, like, straight-ass minute, my hand was caught in a chain link.
Yeah.
On some big-ass grade 80, like, anchor chain. And I actually thought that was the end of me.
That's a no for me. Yeah, no.
The only way I got out, this happened on a lunch break by myself. No one was out in the shop. I could have yelled for help, but I was worried that I'd lose the respect of everyone that worked under me.
Oh, of course.
So I actually spit on my own wrist, wriggled it around. I was already starting to sweat like crazy, so that helped.
Oh, of course.
And was able to slowly pull my hand out. But I'm going to tell you that was the most scared I've ever been, because that's grade 80 steel, and you don't just cut that with a hacksaw. Right. I started actually thinking about, how is this going to get off me before I lose my hand? And I didn't have an answer. You cut it with a blowtorch, and you're gonna be burned. Right. I couldn't think my way around it.
Yeah.
And I got it out, but that was the scariest thing I've ever. So Donnie gets his foot stuck in a flesh chain. That's a damn nightmare. Yeah. That's a full-on ass nightmare.
I mean,
look at all the reasons.
Yeah.
That's awful.
It's awful. It's awful. And it
gets
worse.
That's how my arm looked. It was green.
So it gets worse because Donnie Dreg just then. So Michelangelo and Raphael wrap the chain around some of the what do you call that? An I-beam? Yeah. That's like the structure. It's already like in the foundation of the ground because they're on a construction site essentially, and they wrap it around this thing to leverage it. I guess I don't really know, but Dreg just picks up, like, pulls the slack, and this just tightens the chain and it hoists Donnie T up in the air, but the Turtles are able to get him free somehow. And
I think what they do is they wrap it around the column, and they think like, when he pulls and he can't get his arm loose,
right.
I think that they think that he'll change form. He'll be like, oh, screw this, and like make it not a chain,
right,
which would free Donnie.
Mm.
I would worry that would make Donnie meld with the flesh.
That's what I'd be worried
scarier.
about. Yeah, absolutely.
But I think that was what they were trying to do. But when Dreg starts pulling hard enough, he's like, oh, he says something like, you don't know my actual strength. That's the other thing. He's like, also because I ingested 5 actual whole ass people, I'm 5 times stronger than I normally am.
Right.
He meant it. Yeah. So I think that's what happened. And because he starts to pull the chains and the links start to like warp, I think they're able to get him out, but it's weird.
Right. So
Donnie also probably was spitting on his ankle while no one was watching
the whole time.
That's what I did.
That's what you do.
Yes.
So he does this. Donnie T gets out, but then Dreg just keeps pulling, and he eventually knocks all of the construction stuff down around the turtles, which they're unfazed by. Like they do not even care. They decide to they make some jokes about like, does anyone have King Kong's phone number that they got to go, to deal with Dreg, but since they don't, they have to head back to the sewer, and so they start taking off. And this is probably my favorite part. So Dreg just cackles, and he morphs into a fleshy, like Mojo type looking character. Mojo from X-Men. And using the powers of sweet potatoes, and then we see Dreg now has morphed into a ball with his head poking out. And he's got 2 very muscular arms aside his head. And
that's effectively like, I mean, I feel like if that's how that guy looked, initially I would have called him Melted Michelin Man.
Oh, yeah.
But that's apparently one of Sweet Potato's powers.
Yes.
Because he has the little feathers around his head, too, which signifies he's in...
Oh, I do see them now. Okay.
Yeah, he's in full Sweet Potatoes mode. Really fast, I want to check in with the chat because several people... John Clemens says that you should be sprayed with cold water for your comments earlier.
I absolutely should. Yes.
M. Wilson, who is our native correspondent, our indigenous people's correspondent, says, Eric, that name is a Nava no.
You're right. You're totally right. It was like that was 90s Eric talking. That and that was working here, and that don't get it. So
that don't get it.
It don't get it.
But we settled on Sweet Potato, which is fine.
We did.
Well, that's him.
Yeah. Chris Garvey said Krangwad, I believe. Or no, M. Wilson said Krangwad, and Chris Garvey
Krangwad, that's a pretty good one for the Meatwad. Yeah, that's kind of what I was going for with him. He just looked like Meatwad if he was a plum and not made of meat. And so that's pretty good.
Also, Chris Garvey had mentioned that this is some body horror, and I wanted to mention that too. That when you talked about Donatello's leg fusing with the chain, some people who haven't, if they were just watching this episode, they might have been like, "Oh, well, that's a little like much, isn't it?" But no, a vast majority of Red Skies has been a lot of body horror. Like, granted, on like a lower scale, but. And in a cartoon form, but nevertheless, I mean, it's still that.
I mean, IMDb, just really fast. First of all, I want to say I agree with you. I want to say, and IMDb does as well. M. Wilson says, speaking about Devil's Lettuce, he says that's why he's on that lettuce, the terminal illness. That just brings in where it's called Devil's Lettuce because he's terminally ill dad. You know what I mean? Like Krang's terminally ill dad. It's like a whole 9 yards.
Yes.
So IMDb classifies the first 7 seasons of this show as comedy. Mm-hmm. The last 3 seasons they classify as drama.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I remember reading that.
They actually changed their genre description for the last 3 seasons, which is interesting.
It is very interesting, and it's appropriate.
But I just want to check in with that because we're talking about the Nava No, and we're talking about sweet potatoes, and I want to check back in with chat. Chat's been great.
Yeah, and you were all correct. Yes. I agree with everything. But
you were warning us to pull up, but we never did.
Yep. So no, I just crashed. Crashed and burned.
It's good.
So
both of us. I mean, I said my name too. We both crashed. But
we did. But they were 90s versions of us. They do not represent the ideas and thoughts and feelings of modern turtle soup.
Sometimes you get so caught up in it because you're like, oh, what would be a funny really insensitive 90s thing to say about this, and you're like, I just said it.
Oh yeah.
And you're just like,
oh,
you look down, you're like, when does joking go too far?
But yeah. So when does Dreg go too far? And he hasn't yet. He hasn't gone far enough because he hasn't quite reached the turtles.
Not yet.
But this is my favorite scene. This is my favorite thing of this episode and probably this whole season is Dreg just rolling around, spinning around the streets of New York City as this giant ball of brick and potatoes with muscle arms. And I love it. So he's in hot pursuit of the turtles as they're running for what seems like 8 miles to get to a manhole cover to get back to their lair. So he's rolling down the street, wrecking everything. The turtles are able to narrowly miss him as they jump into a manhole cover, while Dreg rolls directly into a warehouse. And it says warehouse, Ryan, on the actual building. Just big words. Yeah. Warehouse. That's it.
Warehouse.
So he then reverts back to his giant form. And then he says, you can run, but you can't hide. And his face gets a little weird. And this is presumably using Roach Daddy's powers, if I'm not mistaken.
That's Roach Daddy.
Yeah, I think that's
I'd
Roach
recognize
Daddy.
those eyes anywhere.
Goodness. So Roach Daddy's eyes. So this ability allows him to see through things. So, X-ray vision or maybe
love that shot.
Heat vision. I don't know. But
with the
red.
Yeah,
you could see through the streets and see the turtles running, which is really neat. So they're running down the streets, or excuse me, underneath the streets in the sewers, and Dreg's just watched them do it. Then we see a robotic claw just drop right in front of the turtles, and they correctly assume that Dreg must be able to see right through the street. This is when we kind of see another one come down and grab, I think it's Michelangelo. And then we see that it's actually just Dreg's 2 robot arms, which I think this is C-3P No, his abilities.
This is C-3P No. They're using, have they used all of them? I don't know if they've used Devil's Lettuce yet.
I think Devil's Lettuce might have been the tentacle arms.
You're right.
to throw the bricks.
Devil's Lettuce.
Yeah, I think that was
They've used them all. Oh, I love it
so.
because this completes the set, right?
I believe
he did Gora.
So yeah,
he did Devil's Lettuce. Mm-hmm. He did Roach Daddy.
Sweet potatoes.
He just got done doing sweet potatoes, and now this is C-3PO. No, yeah, he's done them all. Love it.
Now I don't know where he gets the ability to grow bigger. I don't know where that came from. Might have been Blue Chew. Who knows? But so the turtles, they decide that they're going to head to the lower sewers. So what they do? Oh, excuse me. I'm sorry. I forgot. At some point, Leonardo goes and cuts the robot claw, breaking it off and letting Michelangelo free. So then he cuts. He then goes and cuts a. What do you call that thing, Ryan? The wheel thing right here. What is that?
That'd be a valve.
A valve. Thank you. I know I knew that it was in my brain, but I couldn't find it. But he cuts a valve off, and he heads to the rest of them head to the lower levels of the sewer. And what this valve does is it unleashes a deluge of water, and apparently this fills up the sewers so much to cause the force of all of this pressure to just start to spray up over Dreg's arms, which is kind of unfortunate for his robot body because that'll rust. But also it's you're thinking, okay, a little bit of water, that's not good for him. No, there's so much force that this actually throws him at least 2 blocks behind him.
Absolutely.
Super quickly, which is very odd. So back in the lair, we get an odd shot of the turtles and Splinter in the lair, and we see Michelangelo rubbing Donatello's shell, and for a very long time, it's very strange. Oh, yeah. They make a comment on how thankful they are that they have shells, and I'm presuming that he's putting turtle wax on the shell.
He is absolutely doing that.
So then Splinter comes in and chimes in with some wisdom. Let's see here. I'm sorry, I jumped ahead. So the shell, they're rubbing the stuff on the shell. They make the comment about they're thankful for their shell, and then they proceed to talk about how tough Dreg is now. Then Splinter comes in with some wisdom, and he says, when the hermit crab wants to impress its enemies, it gets a bigger shell. And that, words to live by. When you want to impress your enemies, get a bigger shell. There you go.
Mm-hmm.
So that's Splinter's words of wisdom for the episode. And this triggers Donnie. Donnie, the light bulb just goes off. He's like, oh, we need a bigger shell. So he pulls up to the family computer. Everyone runs over. And he pulls up a familiar schematic, Ryan. And this made me very excited. It was Krang's doughy android body.
Love it.
Love it so much. We haven't seen this thing in forever, and we're now getting a callback to it, and this is glorious. He says that it has its own molecular expander and increases the space between atoms, thus increasing the size of its body. And
that is canonically true.
It is. And I love that Donnie, like, he has his hands like all together, like he's like, oh, sorry, I'm hitting mics. He's all like this, like getting all giddy about it.
I love it.
Yeah. So this is fantastic, and I love all the science explanation about it too. It's just great. It's not just like, oh, it gets bigger. It's like, no, this is why. And then so Mikey brings up the fact that they destroyed the Technodrome, which is where the body was. But Donnie says that the body was practically indestructible, and then Raph makes a joke about how, oh, really, all we got to do is just go to Dimension X and bring it back. Easy peasy. You know, and then he's like, Donatello's just like, yeah, that's all we got to do. And like Raphael realizes in that moment that Donatello's bringing the portal back, Ryan. The portable portal generator.
This is one of the best comedic timing, like edit and line, like the writing and acting. I think this show's ever done.
Absolutely.
Because the way they cut it is so brilliant, because Raph's like, yeah, I mean, all we got to do is, go back to Dimension X and bring it back. No, not the portal. And like, you see him like pulling it into the room. That was, dude, I laughed out loud. That was like the funniest shit.
Yeah.
It's so good. It was so great. Funny. Cause like they just had the portal in the trilogy, and all that. And I love it.
Yeah, I do too.
Or not the trilogy, but the episode after the trilogy. I absolutely love that.
And I love that Donnie is just like pushing it across the floor, like just sliding it. Like you would have thought he would have put casters or something on it, but no, just sliding it across the sewer floor. The other turtles give Donnie some guff about how it was a major bummer last time they used it, but Donnie is insistent he can control it this time. So he turns it on and it starts sucking all of these scraps of paper, like a lot of paper, just paper just everywhere. And it's like, why so much paper? Anyway. So
back all that old mail people flush down the toilet, bro.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
It goes somewhere.
I forgot about that. Yep. Well, back at April O'Neil's apartment. April's on her computer. And we get a different shot of her on her computer, and Dreg just all of a sudden appears on her computer screen, which is amazing because that's what villains do. And he says that he wants something that only she can give him. And yeah, that's interesting. Then he just materializes in front of her, and he's standing about a good 12 feet, I'd say, and he just says, bait. That's it.
Bait. That dude's Space Marine size. Love that. I love that for scale. That is so good. That is like dead ass, like Primaris Space Marine size. And that shot is so awesome.
It is.
Because the turtles fight him and stuff, and you see him earlier, but it's always hard because they're moving around and like they're doing all these angles for the action. Just seeing him in her apartment like that, you realize just like
how foreboding he is.
His size and power. I love it. I love that shot.
Oh yeah, it's great. So back in the lair, the turtles finally get the portable portal generator under control. Just then, Dreg appears on the tiniest monitor on the portable portal generator.
It's the It's the same monitor that April called in before, where they were getting sucked in. She's like, guys, are you hearing this wind? And they're like, shut up! Like it's the same monitor.
It's the same.
Very
one.
Consistent. I love that.
It is. I do too. And he informs them that he's got April and to come save her. And she he's like, come save her. He's gonna send her to the labor mines in Dimension X if they don't. And the turtles are like, oh, okay, yeah. But April's like, she starts to say something like it's a trap. And at this point, the fact that like, if you have to say that at this point, of course they know it's a trap, but it cuts off conveniently before she can.
I bet the turtles just know. The turtles like, of course. Why do you hold someone? Because it's a trap. Like it's fine.
Yeah, exactly. So Don decides that him and Mikey will go to Dimension X and get Krang's android body, and that Leo and Raph will go save April. So Mike and Don hop through the portal, and they make it to Dimension X right in front of the Technodrome. Somehow Donatello knew exactly where to go.
I also want to drop a flag here that this is the divide part, guys.
Oh, the divide. Yes, this is from the title, the titular divide. Yeah, so they drop right in front of the Technodrome, which looks decrepit and it's all dark and dingy. Love it. I love this. It's fantastic.
Oh, I love that so much.
And so, so they make their way through the Technodrome, and it's just got cobwebs everywhere and all kinds of stuff. And they make their way through, and they see some glowing red eyes behind them. And that's where we leave them for now. Back at April's apartment, we've got a familiar scene that we haven't seen in ages, which is April O'Neil tied up to a chair. And so
that's old school. Also, I left the apartment.
Yeah, because that'd be kind of weird if you were just.
I was like, I'm.
That'd be kind of weird if you were just hanging out and she's tied up. That'd be questionable.
There's something I'm not proud of. I took the party pizza and I left with me. I just left with it.
Well, if you didn't take it off and you didn't turn the oven off, then that could have been a fire hazard. So you were probably doing that before Dreg showed up. That's probably what you were doing. Just trying to give you the benefit of the doubt.
I mean, it sounds better if I put it that way. Sure,
it does. So I'm just trying to help you out. So April O'Neil's tied up. The turtles come in. Raph and Leo come in, and they ungag her, I guess. And they're like, she's like, it's a trap. Okay.
And they're like, yeah, obviously.
Yeah, we knew this. So as this happens, the wood door behind them shuts, and a metal latch materializes on it that presumably seals it shut. Dreg then manifests himself from the glowing red, like metal thing that just went across the door.
Yes.
He just manifests himself, and now he's in the apartment. He picks up Leo and Raph with his blue arms, and then transforms his because he's got 4 arms now. He transforms the 2 upper arms to one of them
the Gora, or he's got the suit arms and then the Gora arms underneath, right? Am I wrong with that?
Correct. Yeah. You were correct. The one on the top is on his top left are 2 saw blades, and then the one on his right it looks like a gun, but I think they explain what it is in a little bit. He just puts it at the turtles, and I think we get a commercial break here if I'm not mistaken. But then once we get back from commercial, Dreg then gives them the choice between the liquid nitrogen spray, which is the gun on the right, or the carbide shredder. And
I'm gonna go with liquid nitrogen spray.
Yeah, just go ahead and
I'll take
get
the
it
first
done.
option.
Yeah. Door number 1, please. Raphael makes a vacation joke, and Dreg decides for them, and apparently is going with the carbide shredder.
Yeah, see.
So that's what happens. Raphael throws a sigh at the blades on the shredder, and it bounces off, hitting the wall in April's apartment, which causes a bunch of cabinets to fall like on top of Dreg or between the Dreg and the turtles. It's very strange, and I don't know how physics works in April's apartment, but that's definitely weird and not normal. So it makes 0 sense, but the turtles are able to get loose. Dreg apparently changes his mind about how he's going to get the turtles, and he starts trying to attack them with the things, but he's like, no, okay, I'm gonna go with the nitrogen. So he starts walking around April's apartment chasing the turtles, and he's just freezing everything, just nitroing everything. And so he gets through the apartment, like almost the whole thing, and there's this like, it looks like he's kind of like pissing everywhere. Like it just looks like he's just doing that.
That yellow, not the best look I've ever seen.
No, it looks kind of bad. And so what they do is Leo just breaks a chair in front of Dreg and causes the ice or the nitrogen to break in front of him, so he falls through.
Yeah,
love that. I love it. It's stupid, but I love it.
Oh, he robo-doped himself, and it works because he's on the shredder plan.
Yeah,
I like that. See, like before when they would have Dreg do some kind of small dumb stuff, I used to be like, I don't know, I feel like he's smarter than that. But right now he's full like LOL villain.
Right.
So yeah, he did that to himself.
Oh
of
yeah,
course.
Totally. So at this point, they get April free, and they we got to get out of here. So they untie her and they make their escape to the turtle van parked outside a New York City apartment on the street that says Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, by the way. And so then we see that Dreg just breaks through the wall. And this is probably my second favorite part because he morphs his legs into a motorcycle and takes off after them. And he looks fantastic. I love this so much.
He does look really good, doesn't he?
He does. And this gave me like Terminator vibes, like him going through here doing all this, and I was all about that. Back in Dimension X, back in the Technodrome, Don and Mike think they've found Krang's android body, but it looks different. It's got like fangs, and it just something's very off about it. Well, turns out its tongue also comes out and it grips Mikey by the hand, and this is very strange. More kind of sort of body horror stuff, and I love it, but it's very weird. And they end up like they toss that phony. They pick him up and they throw him around, and then they are attacked by some other beings that appear partially mechanical as well. And these look like some like weird
Tweedledum and Tweedledee pop out of the woodwork over here.
Oh yeah, they look ridiculous. They look like some knockoff toys, essentially.
Absolutely.
But yeah, they're doing their thing, and they start fighting the turtles.
Playmates at the end was like, "We're good." Playmates like, "We're good."
Yeah, we're done.
We're good on this.
Yeah. So
thanks.
Although in Playmates fashion, their feet are two different.
Absolutely, there.
Styles,
I mean, you could tell that they were like, "You want to make some more toys?"
We could do it.
No one would ever buy Tweedledum and Tweedledee. They look like Canadian brothers that got into a cyborg accident.
Right, and since we named the other characters real quick, I'm gonna say that this one is Krang's android Fang droid body. Fang droid body. How about that?
Okay. I would. Okay. I feel like I want to make fun of cosplay because it feels like he's cosplaying as Krang's android body.
Okay.
A little bit. A Fang droid's good though.
Okay. So,
what's a funny first name that starts with F? Frank.
Funny one.
He's a Fang droid Frank.
Okay, I like it because he's also kind of like a Frankenstein, like Frankenstein's monster.
Oh,
I should say. So there you go.
Oh, got him. Got him.
Okay,
got him.
So I'm gonna say that that the guy on the right here, the being on the right is Pork Chop.
Yeah.
Just Pork Chop. His name is Pork Chop. Just saying.
I like that's pretty great. That's pretty great. So now, guy on the left. Okay, shit. So they're obviously weird brother people because they're standing the same way. They have the same body. They both have like that weird mustache. So I feel like Pork Chop. So we already got Fang Droid Frank. We got Pork Chop, and I'm gonna drop Ham Bone on that other guy.
Oh, I like that. Okay. Ham Bone.
So we got so that's the crew that's like, I guess they're salvaging the Technodrome of all of its like cool alien wares, but that's who's living there, right? Fang Droid Frank,
right?
Pork Chop and Ham Bone.
And we've got one more that we haven't seen yet. So
that's right.
Yeah. So they cleared the room, but there's one above them. And Mikey manages to get him tangled up and suspend him with his legs and the grappling hook and everything. And this guy is Butterscotch.
What do you name him?
His name is Butterscotch. That's his name.
I love the name. I love that all the lesser of them all, they're all food based.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I was the only other thing I thought I had for this cat was like something based on like Scuba Steve, because that's what he looks like.
He does kind of look like that. I also want to maybe we can call him Werther's. Like because he kind of looks like
you call him Werther's. You could call him Do Not Resuscitate.
Oh my God.
I feel like would be a great name for him.
Goodness, Do Not Resuscitate.
Like yeah, just DNR for short. You know what I'm saying? DNR if you're nasty.
So well Donatello got nasty with the boys, and he wrecked his scanner, which was very strange. I don't know why he did that, but he was fighting them with that, and the scanner he made to detect where the android body is.
Yeah.
So they've got Butterscotch tangled up in the old web here. And Michelangelo calls him Tin Man.
They do gloss him on the show. They gloss him Tin Man.
They do. But then
your boy DNR don't know that.
Yeah, they don't. He doesn't. They decide to interrogate them, and they suspend. The one that's suspended right here. They decide to interrogate him. Now, what's interesting is that I don't think we've ever seen this before, but the turtles this whole perspective changes, and it's from this character, this mech man, whatever you want to call him. He's
got a name. Rep it. Butterscotch. That's his name.
Butterscotch. Okay, Butterscotch. Okay,
Butterscotch. He's known as DNR to his friends.
Okay,
yeah.
So this is Butterscotch's point of view right here, where we're seeing the turtles upside down, and that is something I don't think we've ever seen on the show before. It's a very odd choice for this, but nevertheless, I like it too. Butterscotch informs them that it's basically right behind them, that the android body is right behind them. So they just got to move some stuff. So like he just points and he's like right over there. So they go and they lift a couple of things, and there it is, Krang's android body in all its glory. And I love it so much. And they let Butterscotch free and proceed to they find the body. And they pick it up, and they inform us that they don't have to make it back to the portal generators portal, because the Technodrome has their own portal generator. So that saves a ton of time.
Team lift on Krang's android body.
Yes.
I'm a huge fan of this so much. We could go into so much about this, but keep going. This is so great.
It is. So back in New York, we have the Turtle Van in another scene that's very great, because we see Leonardo in the sidecar turret taking shots.
Side gunner, full bore side gunner Steve over here, dude. Hot fire. Love this.
So April and Raph's driving, April's in the van, Leo's shooting, and they are running away from Dreg, who is motorcycle Dreg right now, and they crash through a gate, which is to a junkyard. Dreg is in hot pursuit, and they end up spinning out and doing things like all kind of crazy, just panicking essentially. And at some point, they feel boxed in. They're boxed in. They don't know what's going on. It's a horrible feeling. And so once they're in the junkyard, once they're boxed in, they're just like, okay, what are we gonna do? Well, all of a sudden, Dreg shows up, and he's in control of the crane that has the magnet on it that puts the cars in the compactor. So he's like, what an appropriate end for such worthless beings. And so then we cut back to the Technodrome. And the portal, Donnie says that he's not sure if they have enough juice to get them back using the Technodrome's portal. But just then, Michelangelo sees all the dudes we just named coming back for more. And
they got Fang Droid Frank.
Yep.
Right? Fang Droid Frank. Yep. You got Pork Chop. You got Hambone. And I want to believe that your boy Butterscotch ran away, but you don't know that.
You don't know that.
He may be right there behind him.
It's true. He could be. And so, they're so what's funny is that Michelangelo makes a turtle soup reference here, and he says that if we don't go now, dude, we're gonna be the key ingredient. So there's a cooking reference. So then the food names are actually pertinent.
Love it.
I love it
Full
too.
circle.
So then Donnie just presses a yellow button, and they both pick up the real Krang's android body and just jump through the portal. So
can we go back one frame to go to the portal again, really fast?
Yeah. There you go.
That is so absolutely badass. I want to take it 1 second.
It is.
How many episodes, how many hours did we spend with Shredder and Krang, Bebop and Rocksteady in front of that massive portal? That was the main portal in the main control room of the Technodrome. They recreated it here. It's green. It's old and like looks old. Love all the old, because we're saying goodbye to the Technodrome for the last time, so I just gotta drop this. All the shiny silver looking tech is green and brown with algae and age. Yeah. The fact that like they decided to go back to the Technodrome, the ruined Technodrome, use that massive portal, which always had problems. That portal would work and it wouldn't work, and sometimes rocket would come out of it. But they always needed the thing. They needed some more fuel to power the portal, or they needed more energy to power the portal. And the fact that the Turtles used the portal to grab the android body and pull it through in the last episode, masterful. Oh yeah, absolutely masterful, and I love it so much. Like I just had to burst out on that. I'm sorry.
You were absolutely correct. They back in the junkyard, Donnie and Michelangelo somehow knew that they needed to be transported to the junkyard. Don't really know why. And they press a button to make Krang's android body bigger, which is I think right on his belt. And they I think I got my images mixed up. There we go. So they jump through. Yeah.
Bunga.
Yeah, so they say Kawa on the one side and then they say Bunga on the next, which is fantastic. So they press the button on the belt that makes Krang's android body bigger. Make my body grow. That's what he did. And so Dreg continues to revel in his premature victory, and then he turns to see Krang's android body being piloted by Don and Mike, which is hilarious. They're just in there chilling. And now this is like, I don't know, how tall do you think he is? Like maybe 4, like, I don't know, like 4 stories, maybe 3 to 4 stories tall.
4 or 5 stories, at least 4 or 5 stories. He's really tall.
Yeah. So he goes over and he picks up Dreg, which he's obviously taller than Dreg, but like it's weird because the perspective,
the scaling here is off. The scaling here is just off.
Yeah. So then we get a shot of inside the van where Leo breaks his ninjato on the door, and he blames it on the magnet jamming the door, which sounds convenient, but whatever, we'll go with it. So then April catches a glimpse of like what's going on outside. And she sees Krang's android body with the turtles in it fighting Dreg. And the fact that like she acts like she's never seen Krang's android body before, but I'm like, no, you know what that is. Like the fact that that just bothered me. Anyway, Dreg then turns his right arm into because remember now in this version he's only in a suit and he only has 2 arms right now. He turns his right arm into a tentacle and tries to choke out Krang's android body and pushes it against the controls of the crane, lowering it enough to smash the tire, one of the turtle van's tires. More fighting happens, and everyone's kind of freaking out because, what's happening? What's going on? Mikey wants Donnie to make it bigger, but, he explains that due to They do. But he explains that the gravitational stress on the atoms, due to that, they have 1 minute before this thing explodes. And I'm like, what? It's exploding? Well, all right. So, and they say that it's going to explode, or excuse me, it's going to shrink to the size of a ping pong ball. Yeah, it's going to implode. Yes. They end up hitting the crane controls again, and now the compactor has gotten the lip of the turtle van, so it's getting front
tight. Bumper kind of area, yeah.
Right, I said lip because they have the turtle like
because it's the mouth.
Yeah. Sorry. Leo in the van tells Raph to turn the van around, and he's going to try to use the roof turrets to shoot Dreg. And so that's happening, which is pretty neat because we're seeing a lot of stuff from the turtle van that we don't get to see very often.
Yes,
so
love that. The side gun shot, using the top turret, love that.
Love it.
Love that.
So so he gets the shot, and it separates Krang's android body and Dreg. They fall. They both Dreg gets crushed temporarily, but he kind of comes back in his like sweet potatoes form, and then his bowling ball form, where he's just like rolling around and stuff, and then he kind of looks like, and this he's using the Devil's Lettuce form right now, where he looks almost just like him, which he kind of reminded me of like a Quintesson from like Transformers, like the thing with the faces that rotated, like they were like judges and stuff from the movie.
Absolutely. Those are like, that was like my favorite toy ever.
Oh yeah, they were freaky. And so he kind of looks like that, but he's in that form now. And then Mikey and Don talk about how they have just enough time to do the move, quote unquote, and make some innuendos about performing under pressure. So then time for the move, it happens, and it's the what was the move that the flying Krang,
flying
claw, that's it, the flying claw.
No laws when you're on the claws.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah. Well, Dreg didn't know about this, and so he gets totally taken like by surprise by this. They grab him and they rappel out of Krang's body, his android body, that shrinks to about normal size, also shrinking Dreg as well. They open the portal to Dimension X. I'm sorry, this is them shrinking. They open the portal to Dimension X and somehow end up throwing him in before it explodes or implodes or whatever it was going to do. And that's that. So like then the turtles are like, hey, the ones in the van, they're like, hey, can you help us out here? Like, we wanted to play too, but thanks.
Fix this for us. Yeah.
And here we go, everybody. This is it. This is it. We get this shot for presumably the last time.
Love that.
They
put so much work into that. They put so much work into that frame.
They did.
It's awesome.
They did, but they didn't put enough work into the actual door to block the sewer. But this is the door that the 5 wood planks that they have all this technology and all this stuff. They just have the 5 wood planks that kind of sort of cover.
That's how it should look, though. That is so Turtles. That is so Turtles.
I know.
I love that. Yeah.
And it's showing us back in the lair. We see old Dad Splinter, and we see the 4 turtles, and they.
I'm sorry. Can I call the turtles into the lair really fast in the order that they are? Can you go back one panel?
Yeah.
Can I call them in as Splinter would have called them in?
Right. I skipped over some stuff. Let me get you there. So yeah. So we're back in the lair. So we're seeing the lair. Splinter's in the living room, the TV room, if you will, and he wants to say something to his students. They know it's kind of the end, and he wants to say something to them. And Ryan, go ahead.
So he sits down. He sits down, but he stands up again. He's like, I need to be on my feet for this. And he goes,
right.
Michelangelo, Donatello, Leonardo, Raphael, please come to the lair living room. And then they all walk in that order.
They all walk in that order. That's what they do.
Yes.
And so once in the lair for this meeting, this family, gathering, he says that they are all exceptional students, and he's proud to be their equal.
Oh my God.
Mikey says that, don't you mean sensei? Like instead of equal? Splinter drops this. Splinter says, sensei means leader or guide, but you no longer need a guide. And I wanted to see that picture too. There we go. Okay. Like the lion, you have no superior in the jungle of life. Leonardo says, we really can handle anyone or anything. At that moment, they hear some popping in the kitchen, and they all kind of assume that something is afoot, if you will.
They assume something's popping off.
Pump it off.
You know what I'm saying?
I do.
It's popping off.
Oddly enough, their early warning signal thing did not go off, so I don't know why they think it's a threat.
Of course not.
However, turns out somehow Donatello was making popcorn in the microwave, and it's now opened the door with so much force and shooting everywhere. And the last joke of this entire series is them saying that they could handle anything except for Donatello's cooking. And that's the end of episode 8 of season 10 of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 1987 animated series, as well as the series as a whole. That is the last bit.
The 193rd episode of Murakami Wolf Swinson's 1987 animated series in its entirety.
In its entirety. That is it. Ladies and gentlemen, we have done it.
I gotta straight up say, we kind of, so, okay. I need a second. Okay, so we talked about kind of how we were going to tackle the aftermath of this episode, of this issue. Issue. See, that's an old Turtle Soup callback.
It
we
is.
used to always say issue instead of episode.
Oh, yeah.
How we're going to handle kind of the aftermath of this episode and try to form up, more formally form our thoughts, because they can just go anywhere and they can last for actually ever. So we kind of agreed upon a bit of a framework for how we would kind of start the conversation.
Right.
So we're going to kind of start with John Klein's question about, he said, how much of your life changed since Monday, March 11th, 2013, when 3 Hour Death Fall to the Technodrome premiered on Turtle Soup. That's the episode 15, the first episode that we ever covered. The TMNT animated series. We did all 5 episodes of the first season all at once. It was a 3-hour episode. We were blown out. We had never had an episode go over 2 hours ever.
Yeah, no.
And we did a 3-hour Death Fall, and it was insane. And he asked specifically, I think this is a good frame for just showing how long we've been doing this. I mean, how much of our lives changed since March 11th, 2013?
I mean,
my daughter, who is 9, was under 1 year old.
Yeah.
She would turn 1 year old in April. She is now in 4th grade, killing it.
Yeah.
Absolutely killing it. She is a full-fledged girl, living her own life, full of opinions, full of awesomeness, and she was just a babbling infant.
Yeah.
When we started reviewing this stuff. My son was 3. He was playing with us in the living room where we started this show.
Yep.
We're out there listening to Justin Timberlake, getting him pumped up, and he would just throw his dirty socks at Eric and thought that was the funniest thing. And he was practically, he would talk, but he was not super, super verbal.
Right.
And now he is stealing second base, stealing third base in Little League. That's how long it's been. That's how much my life has changed. I live in a new house.
You do.
I've worked 3 different jobs since then. When we started the animated series, I was a stay-at-home dad, doing audio engineering work on the side hustle, trying to turn that into a real a real business. Turns out that's real hard. We were doing the math on how much could I get paid at an entry-level job that wasn't audio, and how much is childcare for 2 little children. Oh, that's more than you'd make in a year. You stay home, right?
Yeah.
So I was stay-at-home dad, right? Thinking about and just really dedicating so much of my time to the show, and just thinking, and to the kids obviously, and thinking I'm really excited about this, but I would have a whole nother journry after that with all this stuff. That's how much my life has changed. That's just me. So how about you? I mean, cause it's been forever.
It has.
It's been, 8 years.
I think
this isn't a math pod.
Yes, a math on the mic. You don't.
It's been
do
8 years. 8 years. So, 8 years in March.
Yeah.
It's October.
Yeah. So,
well over 8 years.
Yeah. Like, I don't know. A lot's changed. I was still single, and I had different jobs all through that. So my jobs have all switched up. And yeah, I don't know. But at the same time, a lot stayed the same. Like, that's the irony about it, is that like, for me at least, a lot of it was just, oh, okay. And then I got married. That was big. And then, yeah, my jobs switched. That's pretty much the two big main things that switched. One thing, as far as the show goes, though, when we did that first episode of the animated series, we realized that that was our first time we're doing a review for animated stuff. And so we just kind of went with it. And I remember it being like we did it. For some reason we did it at like 1 a.m. is when we started it or something.
Yes.
And yeah,
that's how Turtle Soup used to be. We'd be like, well, it's 1 a.m. We drank all our coffee and did all this other stuff. We recorded all this music, and we had like deep soul searching conversations. And now it's 1 a.m. So let's do a podcast.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
like how we rolled.
Yeah, so that was nuts. And
the sun was coming up when we finished that episode. I remember that clearly.
I do too.
Yeah.
And yeah, I remember it vividly, being there that day and doing that. And then since then, back then we decided to start doing, each person did 1 episode, and we would do 4, which blows my mind that we used to be able to do 4 of these shows in one Turtle Soup episode. I have no idea how we did that. Like, no recollection whatsoever of how we managed to do that. And still put on a decent show where people were still complaining about like all the garbage in it. I'm like, how did we get all of our personal garbage plus 4 episodes of an animated series? And then sometimes we had toy stuff in there too. I have no idea.
Yes.
Like, time does not make any sense.
Those episodes weren't like 5 hours. They were like 3 hours tops. I'm like, how?
It makes no sense. So
how?
There was that. And we eventually went to which I love now, and I wish we kind of would have done it all the way through, but like splitting the episode in half, which makes it like way easier and is less of a toll, because like back then, like doing those reviews, it was like very hard. It was literally homework, like doing some of these reviews, because it just felt like that.
Really hard.
And like if you haven't done it and you think it's easy, it's a task. It's something. But then when we split it, that was way better.
When we do our year-end, when we do our So Basically episode at the end of the year, I'll pull up better numbers on this, because I really wanted better numbers on like how many hours we spent reviewing this show, like just in, like, and not like cutting out the intro of the episode, just doing easy, like this is the hours of podcast where we did nothing but TAS review, because I think it'd be a really scary number. How many hours, especially versus how many hours of animated series there is, because there's at least like a 4-to-1 ratio. I think we spend 4 minutes talking about every minute of the show, at least, if not more. Also, I'll never forget one last thing about like doing the review and like trying to plan the show out, that I think was the most like, we're gonna need a bigger boat moment. Was when we were planning out the animated series. We didn't look too far. We knew it was 193 episodes. We didn't know how it was split up, and we were going to do it by season, once again chronologically, with like how we do it. So like we'd just do season 1 in 87, and then we'd wait we'd cover a year worth of stuff, and then we come back in 88 for season 2. I remember when we laid in, when we were doing the show plan, we had a big spreadsheet and a big plan and a list of what we would do chronologically. We laid out season 2, which came out in 88.
Yeah.
I remember seeing that there were 13 episodes and being like, whew, that's a lot more than 5. Okay. So we probably ought to like do like a couple episodes, 2-3 episodes of the podcast. We're talking. And I was scrolling down Wikipedia just like I am now, and I rolled on to season 3.
Yeah. And then
and there were 47 episodes.
Yeah.
And I remember being like, is there no shit 47 episodes in this season? And Eric's like, yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I remember looking at Eric like, how the hell are we going to do that?
Mm-hmm.
That's, even if we do 4 episodes, an episode of the show, we'll be doing it for more than a year.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, it's going to be everything we do for a year.
Yeah.
And I just remember being blown out. And then honestly, in season 4, there's 41.
Yeah.
Like that wasn't much of a break.
No.
Like, and I just remember like looking off the ledge and being like, how in the hell are we going to review 47 episodes of this?
Yeah.
And
yeah.
just to move on to comics or move on
Just
to whatever, because
right.
I was kind of concerned that like, at what point do you become an animated series podcast? Like, if you've been doing nothing but season 3 of TAS for a year and a half of real podcast time, how are you now you're on the journey, you're just a TAS podcast, thank you.
Yeah.
The ongoing journey of just doing this cartoon, and that's all we do. That was one of my big distinct memories from doing this is being like, Eric, how the hell does this work? And he's like, figure it out. I'm like, oh God, right?
And we did. Here we are. So yeah, it was nuts getting done with this episode. I loved this episode. I thought this episode was fantastic. I thought that like this was a really good like Dreg move where he did what he did, and it was like character development and it high stakes, and like there was presumably death, like at least 6 deaths in this, assuming that Dreg as Mitch in the chat says dead as hell, assuming that is
absolutely
fact.
So really fast, just because I was doing notes, I lost it. Are we moving on to like final episode thoughts on the final episode?
I was gonna kind of combine the two, that one and the feelings as we finished. Yeah. So but just like when you got to the end of it, like that episode for me, I thought that it was great and I was doing it and enjoying it. And then when Splinter comes up and names all 4 of those turtles and talks about the sensei thing, that it was simple and subtle and elegant and like not really overdone. It was just like, because some of the best endings are just like, oh, that happened, okay. And in life, I mean, like, very rarely are there fireworks, and I really loved that approach to it, and I thought that was fantastic. The joke, I thought it was good that they ended with a joke. I appreciated that.
Yeah, it's an homage to the way the show was. It was always like then a funny. Right? That's how that's the pace it always kept, and then the funny happens, like at the end, like.
So so I love that, but typing that last note was I had to take a moment. So what about you? Did you have to do the same thing?
Yeah, I actually God, this is gonna sound so weird. I actually cut this review for my half into 2 parts. And I did it today because I had opportunity to do my review yesterday, and I didn't. Right. And I actually realized the reason I didn't do it was because I didn't want to think about it a lot. Right. I wanted to like review it. I wanted to have maybe a little time to eat some dinner, and then I wanted to do the podcast. Like I wanted to like get in with like all of it fresh. I didn't want to like think about it too much and like whatever. But even when I did it today, I had the whole afternoon to do it, and I did the first 5 minutes of my time, because you took over about 11 minutes in. I did the first 5 minutes of the show, and then I stopped. I went, I hung out with the kids. I did all this stuff. Then I came back. I came back and rewound it to the beginning and watched everything I had reviewed, and then just picked up and reviewed. So I would say that just in real time, my half of the review took probably like 3 hours.
Yeah.
And only about 45 minutes of it was spent, or an hour was spent reviewing the show. Right. I put time in the middle of it to give myself time. Typing my last note, like say that Dreg's like, yeah, let's do this, and handing it over to you was kind of crazy because I was like, the last TS note I'm going to type. And then when I finished the episode, I actually got some food and just watched your half and just watched it. And I remember like after like Splinter said that thing where he's like, well, sensei means like, master or, teacher or guide and whatever. And I'm basically not that. I paused the actual episode and sat there for a second. I was like, they did that. That's great. I rewound it and I watched that. And then I got the popcorn joke, which is great. And I took a minute, but watching the last scene of it was impactful to me. So I guess thoughts on the final episode itself, like just a review we would normally do, like, because like if this wasn't the last episode, we talk about the episode, right?
Right.
you can tell that David Wise was involved, and you can tell that he wanted to set this right.
Yeah.
Is how I'm going to start this. Like I said before, the Turtles aren't stupid.
No.
They're still goofy and funny. They're going to do weird things. They're going to like tie Dreg's chain arm to the building, and he's going to pull it over, and it's going to be this whole 9 yards. Donnie's still going to get his leg stuck in the chain. Like, I got my hand stuck in that chain. He's my favorite turtle, basically cut from the same cloth.
Yeah.
John Clemens may say he's a psycho and a killer, and maybe I am too. Who knows? But I stand in solidarity with Donnie. I feel like he set that in. He set that return to Technodrome. He got the android body out. And he set it right with Splinter at the end, because I think he understood, because he was there when Kevin and Peter, like, when they did this. He was there from the very beginning when they were like, we're doing this, like, we're making an animated series. Here, read these 10 comics, because that's all they really had at the time. Read these 10 comics. It's the best Mirage comics ever made, arguably. Read these. The same thing they did with oh God, what's the name of the director from movie one? Steve Bannon? No, Steve Bannon's the terrible guy.
Oh,
Steve something.
I can't think.
Sat down. Why can't I forget? See, I can't. The minute I had to remember, I don't remember it.
Right.
Steve Barron. Excuse me.
Okay.
They sat down with Steve Barron, and they did the same thing. Yeah. And you can see that David Wise understood that the premise of the TMNT is that, like, part of it is that the Turtles are learning from Splinter.
Right.
And he paid attention to that. So this is one of the better episodes, in my opinion, that we've reviewed in Red Skies, for sure.
Definitely.
And I'm gonna go up there and say that it's hard to call it the best episode of TMNT, the animated series. It's hard to say that because it's the final one.
Right.
It knew what it was. It saw its pitch and it swung. Now,
right.
And now it's a home run. Like, it knew what it was doing, but bravo. Like, I don't have anything bad to say about this.
I don't either. That's rare.
But yeah, I don't mean to take your steam. Like, what are your thoughts on it? Like what, as a final episode goes, right? As an episode of TAS, like, what do you think?
I mean, pretty much the same thing. Like I mentioned earlier, all the stuff with Splinter was perfect, and all the stuff with Dreg, pulling out all the stops. And he's probably dead, more than likely. But so I like that's, and the Turtles doing that. That's another thing. That's another kill count on their heads for this whole season in Red Skies. So that's growing up, because you don't start killing people until at least you're 18. Like, in reality, I mean, come on, like, that's,
you gotta be man. You know
exactly. You got to be a man to take another man's life. Like, that's how it is. And the Turtles have finally gotten there. And that's what Splinter really meant by all of that. But, I thought it was extremely well done. I wish every episode from this season was this way. I wish, like, they would have like had more of a direction and known exactly like what they were doing and stuff. Cause there's a lot of good things in this season. But I think this is a proper send off, and I'm really happy. I've never seen this before. This is the first time I've seen this. This is the first time I've really actively watched Red Skies. I turned it on once or twice when I was a kid. I remember seeing it and be like, oh, okay, that's cool. That's still going on. But this is my first time experiencing it as a whole and watching it. And I got to say, I'm very pleased with how this episode ended and how this season ended and how this series ended, like, all together.
We've kept track of, like, final appearances of people and stuff, and especially when Red Skies kind of got down, because, like, Be Up and Rocksteady had their last appearance. Irma had her last appearance. You start to see him kind of fall off. Rat King, when he showed up, that was his last appearance.
Yeah.
It is a different feeling to watch it and know that it's everyone's last appearance. I think that's one thing that really struck me.
Mm-hmm.
And it was everyone's last appearance that's still left. So what did David Wise and Jeffrey Scott and Tony Love, what did they decide to do with those appearances?
Right.
Splinter's last appearance is him literally, like, we made a joke kind of earlier about, Splinter maybe not being authorized to, like, rubber stamp a foot ninja, a foot clan master. Like,
right.
He may not have ever been one himself. officially granted. You got to kick the bum out.
Yeah,
he finished the rest basically in New York sewer night school,
right?
Like finishing up his own education on the astral plane.
Mm-hmm.
I have no doubt that he's a master, but he doesn't necessarily have the he didn't get his. He went and got his PhD, but he never got the diploma. You know what I'm saying? So he can't call himself a doctor. Is what it feels like.
Mm-hmm.
So we talked about that a lot with Carter and kind of joked about that, but it feels actually like when he conveys that to them and the use of brevity with what he tells the Turtles, it actually feels like absolutely that's him saying we are equals now, like we're a team now.
Oh, 100%.
Like I have nothing more to teach you. It didn't involve a gigantic speech. I loved that it didn't involve weird, cryptic, almost like borderline, like offensive, like, Asian wisdomisms from his mouth, right? It didn't involve any of that, which was kind of annoying when he was doing that this season, walking in the room like, when does the butterfly? And you're like, Jesus. It didn't involve any of that. It was words plainly spoken. That was Splinter's last appearance. Was conferring like basically mastership onto them.
Yeah.
Carter's last appearance, he went to the future and probably really sad there. That's
so.
What it should have been. I'm glad that Carter was not anywhere near this final episode.
Oh,
frankly.
me too. Yeah, doesn't need to be there.
I thought a lot about the final appearances of everyone and the Turtles. Their final thing they get to do is kind of like duck and hide from like a exploding popcorn like in the microwave that Donnie set off. That's perfect. Dreg's last appearance is wrapped in the outer body of the old enemy.
Yep.
Flying claw implosion through the Technodrome portal to Dimension X.
Yes. And
how symbolic and perfect is that?
Absolutely. Yeah.
It's perfect.
And then that probably wrecked the Dimension X at the very least, the Technodrome. So that's cool. And
close the door on that.
Yeah.
So all the scavengers that were in there were taking that tech, and you never know.
You never know.
Fang Droid Frank might have been the new Krang, given enough years of working on Technodrome and making it fix. No, we're going to implode that.
Right.
Blow that up. And April's last appearance is in a tight jam with the Turtles in the party wagon. Like, hey, get me out of here. Like, I'm here. I'm right here with you guys. Like, I love that she made that move for independence this last couple seasons.
Yeah.
Doesn't want to do anything to involve the Turtles. And at the end of the day, she's right there in the middle of it.
I would have loved to have seen. I would have loved to have seen her in the sewer with them. I would have loved to have
me too.
Had that. But
yes,
I get it. At the end of the day, it's them. It's the four Turtles and Splinter. Like that's what they call family. So
it's a private moment too.
Yeah,
I think that April, I think what that symbolizes, that her not being there, and I actually kind of love this. You gotta remember, I mean, April started this series out wearing the yellow jumpsuit forever, had slime all over it. Now she's wearing normal people clothes, driving a damn red Ferrari around, living her own life on the internet with me, hanging out, listening to Chill Hop and all this stuff. She's sworn off the Turtles BS. She's doing her own thing in a ravaged New York. I think the fact that she's not in that room at the end is actually 100% intentional.
Oh, yeah.
She's moved on with her life. I think that's kind of what that is supposed to mean. I think that it means that from now on, they fight the baddies. Sometimes April helps, but most of the time she's actually living a normal life. And without a lot of without big movers and shakers like Shredder, Krang, and Dreg, I mean, there probably shouldn't be a lot to do for them except fight the purple dragons and kind of keep the city on lock,
Yeah. That's it. That's pretty much it. So
one thing I want to say too, I know I've talking for a while, give it over to you, is the line where at the end where they say it seems like we can face pretty much anybody and anything. And what I will say about that line that I really love is that absolutely, because it's 10 seasons of how much ridiculous bullshit do those Turtles deal with in 10 seasons, bro?
Oh yeah. They go
name
through
some ridiculous crap they have to deal with.
So
just off the top of your head, the most ridiculous crap that ever happened.
Oh goodness. Well, the whole thing with
I'll start
New
it
York...
off.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry, you had an answer. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say when
it was the delay across the...
No, you're good. You're good. I was thinking about like that episode where Leo gets really emo, but like, wasn't that because of was that because of Lotus, or was that because of something else? That was they froze over New York real quick for some reason, right?
Yes. New York was getting colder, and he failed to do something. He failed to like lead the team and get a success. And he's like, well, I'm not a leader, so I'm out.
Yeah.
Oh, mental health. Like the Turtles battled mental health.
Yeah.
Through this series. Donnie, we talked about how Donnie had like major problems with the tech, man. The tech wasn't working. There was a whole season where nothing he built worked.
Right.
And Donnie was like, I'm out. Like, honestly, I'm out. Like I all I do is do machines, and machines aren't doing. So I'm out.
Right.
So they battled themselves. That's a great answer.
Oh yeah.
They battled alien pizza toppings that turned into actual xenomorphs.
Yep.
Just in your house, in the pizza box, in the sewer after you pooped them out. Doesn't matter.
Yep.
They xenomorph everywhere.
And they fought and befriended RoboCop essentially with Rex 1.
Yes, and they managed to hook their girl Irma up with a piece too.
And then
at the same time.
Right. And then so they dealt with that. They dealt with things like more body horror with in the that what was that dude that was Irma's. They went to that ski retreat, and it was all about the VHSs, and like Krang wanted her tapes, and it was that one dude that was like Irma was like really trying to get with him, but it turned out he was a robot or something. They had to deal with that.
That was and they had to deal with that.
That was wild.
They had to deal with the Phantom of the Moxie.
Oh yeah,
remember that? It turns out it was just Howie.
Yeah, just Howie. And yeah.
They had to, they had to deal, they wanted to deal with Nog. Yeah. Nog was an Omega level Mr. Mxyzptlk on crack, who his entire thing was like, I'll just turn that into a candy cane. Was that your car? You're dead. Yeah. And they dealt with a man that could change matter and reality at will.
Right.
Now, did they put him in a mirror and then he would just show up in the mirror and that was scary? Sure. Yeah. They didn't close the loop totally.
No.
Everyone laughed like it was funny that Nog was in the mirror. Mm-hmm. I think that Nog in a mirror could be the scariest thing to happen in a mirror. Yeah. Besides if you were like brushing your teeth and like you winked at yourself, but you never did that.
Right. That's terrifying.
That'd break your mind over time. Like an acorn growing between pieces of concrete. And turns into an oak tree and breaks you into a million pieces. That's what would happen if you saw Nog in the mirror one time and went, oh, so he's trapped in my mirror.
Right.
Okay. So that's crazy. They had to face him. They had to face Shredder and Krang trying for actual 7 years.
Yeah. Yeah. They had to fight genocidal
take over the Earth all the time.
Genocidal aliens. And then we don't. I don't know that we ever mentioned it before until this episode, but there's with mutation, that's body horror, and they had to deal with that.
Absolutely.
And then they had to deal with putting on their white face disguises, which is very disturbing. Had to deal with all of that.
Get along to get along, or whatever.
Exactly.
I don't know what I'm saying.
And so there was a lot in here, and the series as a whole, I don't think I would have ever made it through if we weren't doing it with the show. I would have probably skipped a bunch of stuff and just went to all the episodes that had main characters that we know.
Yes.
And then probably watched all of Red Skies. I probably would have done that. But
I can see that because Red Skies is a lot more bearable as you're an adult and because you start seeing, because once again, one thing we talk about all the time is that TV has just gotten better. Just dead ass better. During our lifetime, it's gotten way better. Red Skies feels more like the TV that we're used to seeing now.
It does. Yeah.
I want to say two things. One is that basically, with all that crazy shit, just to wrap up my point, the Turtles kind of can face anybody and anything, actually. They proved that.
Yeah.
The world, they may have seen them inept. There may have been some Penny in the brain going on with
Pinky.
April, maybe.
Oh no, you're talking about Professor Inspector Gadget. I'm sorry, I corrected you, but you were correct. I was thinking you said
I think
Pinky,
I combined Inspector Gadget and Penny and her dog Brian or Brain.
Brain. Yeah.
Brain.
Yeah.
into Pinky in the brain.
Right.
Instead of Penny and Don. Anyway, so
sorry.
Penny and brain action going on. Is April smarter? Probably. Is Splinter usually on top? Of course. You know what I mean? The only thing that's not on top about Splinter is that his half is on the bottom. Do you know what I'm trying to say? That's the only thing about Splinter. So did they rope a dope? Sure. But I can tell you this, though. When you're batting 1,000 over 10 years of the Earth not being destroyed or ever controlled by a alien warlord, whether that be Dregger Krang or by Strang or Shredder by himself, you're batting 1,000, you can face anything. It's been 10 years. It's been a damn decade.
It's true.
I hate to say it, but the city that they have, something really bad happened. I think humans did it, frankly.
I think so,
whatever
too.
happened in New York, it was humans. So they're like, we can't stop humanity from killing itself. We're batting 1,000. We're basically like some Justice League shit.
Yeah.
We can, anything from outside, we can fight that. Like the Authority. You know what I'm saying? Anything outside, we can fight it. On Earth, y'all on your own. Like,
it's
hate to say it, but
no, you're right.
Nuke yourself fine.
And it's hard to argue with results. You know what I'm saying? They might have rope-a-doped and all that, and like
that's what I'm saying.
Fumbled their way, but you can't argue with results. And the Turtles definitely brought results. You know, and as long as they can sleep at night, that's really all that matters. You know, because they're doing it for us. We can count on them.
I wanted to back up your point you made, actually, because it was a really good point. I 100% feel the fact that we wouldn't have watched this by ourselves.
Yeah.
The only world I can see where you and I would have watched the entire 193 episodes, 10 seasons of this show is if we were doing it together in some other way.
Right.
If we turned Friday nights, if you would have gotten this box, like this party wagon, and you would have been like, hey man, I know this is weird, but like at night after we're like, our throats hurt because we've been singing too much or yelling too much and arguing or loving each other too much. And after like we've already had all the big food and big pizza, and now we all feel like we're about to die, and I feel like and you personally are about to pass out. You're like, oh I'm so full, I got food buzz. Oh
yeah.
Would you just like hang out with me and watch all 10 seasons of this show? I would have been like, absolutely, I will.
Right. Oh,
and
of course.
I think we would have done that, but we did it on a podcast instead.
And and I think, and then we had like all of our friends that we've made along the way, you know what I'm saying, that made it.
Oh, and of course,
so much
and
better.
that's huge because you don't know if me and you might eventually be like, how about this week? God, this week I just kind of want to watch the pilot for X-Files because I kind of love that to death. Right. And you're like, yeah, let's do that. Like we would have, you know what I mean?
That would have happened.
But you're right.
Yeah.
That's actually, that point you're making just keeps getting better and better. Like, yes, like it is absolutely like a marriage of like, you and I could like sit here and do this together. It feels like, but then having the support of the podcast and all the Turtletarians, all the people that we've met over these last, 8 years, doing this has also made us stick to it.
Oh, absolutely.
God. Oh, I just want to say, I just want to say I love you, Eric.
I love you too, and I love like
you're
all of our listeners that have been
and all of y'all.
That
love it.
Vocal and letting us know and sending us emails talking about your experience on the journey and going there with us. Like seriously, that means the world to us. And like, I'm glad that like we mentioned it earlier in the episode, but it's nice to have that. I have memories now of watching this show with you, but also with the listeners. And that's invaluable to me. You know what I'm saying? Like there's just something very neat about that, and I really appreciate that. So thank you guys for allowing us to go
Absolutely.
take you on this journey with us. So how do you feel about? Are you good? What do you think? You think?
I think we're pretty good.
Okay.
I want to check in with chat just one more time.
Okay.
I think we're good. I think we've really.
I just want to make sure we've said everything. All right.
Yeah. I mean, you know how it's gonna be. Like. We'll come back in 2 weeks and be like, oh, there's one more thing about the animated series.
Oh, of course.
Or we'll start having a conversation and we'll talk about it again because now it's just in our soul.
Right.
So let's see. There's just some good stuff in here. Jesus. M dropped a lot of alliteration. I don't know if I'm like awake enough to read it all.
Yeah. I think those are all titles for the episode.
Yeah. There was something else though that was in here.
Well, yeah, he brought up I'll throw this in there. He brought up they had to deal with Kitty April, which is something they definitely had to do.
I mean, I'll be honest, I had to deal with Cat April.
Yeah, that's the bigger thing.
And how it figured into my life, into my sexuality, into my being, what that meant for me. Mm-hmm. Questions about like myself, and and I learned a lot. And Mitch Fletcher does drop Mr. Og. That's his name. I always call him Nog for some reason. I don't know why.
I didn't know why you did that.
But yes, Mitch, that's who we were talking. We're talking about Mr. Og, the scariest villain in animated history.
Yeah.
And so that's it. Just want to check in on those. Okay. Thank you guys so much for listening. And being here tonight and listening to the show in general, whether you're new, supporting the show, whether you've been here forever, whether you're in between, it means the world. It's so cool to go on a journey like this so many years ago and finally like get to where you were headed. Mm-hmm. And it's huge. So love that support, guys. And yeah, just awesome.
Yeah. Well, so that's the review, that's the season, that's the series of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 1987 animated series. And I think next time we record, we will be, if I'm not mistaken, I think we're going to be back to comics, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
So, I think this is going to be, and don't hold me to this, but chances are it's going to be, because there's not much left there to cover, but it's going to be the Image run, if I'm not mistaken. So we might have to double check.
Yeah, we had some discussions about how we were going to handle Image, so we will definitely get back to you on that.
Right, but I just wanted to give you a heads up that
it probably is Image.
I did a quick look, and that seems like what we're gonna probably run with, but I don't know yet. I don't know. Okay. So just keep your.
Well, we have a whole hiatus week next week to figure it out.
Because that's what we're
definitely a thing we're doing. So don't forget, no Turtle Soup next week. Mm-hmm. We are taking a week off to cleanse the palate and to kind of line up the programming for the next little while, because this was a big chunk to get done.
It was.
Don't forget really fast that you can win the party wagon. You know, it's still sitting right here. You know what I mean? And we're gonna be drawing. Just a reminder, we're gonna be drawing the winner for that on October 20th at 9 p.m. Eastern. That's just gonna happen with us. Like, that's just the deadline. We're not gonna be like live doing it or anything.
Yeah, no.
So just so you don't think so, that's your deadline. Any email or comment left after, or subscription to YouTube after 9 p.m. Eastern on October 20th, that doesn't count as a ticket. We just had to put a date and time right down on it, the clamp down.
Yeah.
And then we'll announcing the winner of the party wagon October 21st at 8 when we come back for episode 269. Also, don't forget to enter our Turtles Come Out and Find That email contest from earlier, and that would be great.
Yeah, and you can do that by emailing us at turtlesoupshow@gmail.com. You could also, don't forget to go to the home of the internet, turtlesoupshow.com, and you can find all of our episodes up there. 0 to, 268 will be up there momentarily. And that's all up there with links to all of our other stuff that we do. Please, YouTube, like, subscribe, comment, do all that fun stuff. Helps us out a lot. Join the Facebook group. A lot of cool people on there. A lot of cool stuff gets shared there. Just a good time to be had by all. It's probably one of the only good things to be on that app for. And so there's that. Instagram, Turtle Soup Show with the underscores between each word. And if and whatever you're listening to us on, like and subscribe. We really appreciate that as well. And if you want to go the extra mile, hit up Patreon, throw some pennies our way. There's cool swag, and we call you family. Be a part of Patron Ranger and all that fun stuff. And it means a ton. So, all right. Well, I think that's it. So, again, thank you so much for joining us. And we'll be back in 2 weeks. And, we'll keep you posted on what we're going to do. So keep checking the socials and the Facebook group. And until then, else time.
Else time.